who control the night.
Y'all ain't running nothing, just talking too loud. First one step, gon' get pushed through the crowd. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down. When the baseline hit, make the whole room bounce. Y'all ain't running nothing, keep running that mouth. First one cross the line, get thrown right out. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding the crown. When the beat drop low, make the whole flow pound. Step through the door with the speakers blasting, bass so deep that the whole place crashing. Lights go dark when the crowd start chanting. No south rhythm got the room enchanted. Chain swing low when the tempo slow. 808 thunder make the subwoofer blow. Everybody watch when the crew roll through, cause the underground kings in the building too. Talk all day but the action weak. When the beat drop heavy they don't wanna speak. Make a style bounce with the haunted groove. Every bar hit hard when the drums all move. Y'all ain't running nothing, just talking too loud. First one step gon' get pushed through the crowd. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding it down. When the baseline hit, make the whole room bounce. Y'all ain't running nothing, keep running that mouth. First one cross the line, get thrown right out. Y'all ain't running nothing, we holding up the ground. When the beat drop low, make the whole flow pound. Smoke in the air with the liquid.
Right guys, I want to speak about Tartary. This is like a little introduction to Tartary. I'm going to be using this. So if you guys have never heard of Tartary or Great Tartary, or you've only briefly just grasped what the thing's about, like you don't really know the fine details as to what's involved with this whole concept of Tartary, I want to speak about something different other than Anunnakis and Bible and all that type of stuff. We can get back to that at another time, yeah? But just to break the repetition, I want to speak about Tartary. This ain't even my book. This is one of my ex-girlfriend's books. She ain't come for it yet, yeah? So I might as well use it while I've got it here and get us into this. I might as well use the word enigma, because Tartary is very much an enigma. So this is not me, like how I usually teach from Bible and teach from my books and that. This is more like me and you, the viewer. This is our investigation into, yo, what is this Tartary thing really about? Because if I'm honest with you, I am not an expert on Tartary. That's why this book that I'm writing about Tartary, I've had to be very careful and take my time with it, because it's not a simple case of me that like the Bible and stuff. I know that like the back of my hand. I can write a book like War in the Skies within a week, 8 days. It's all finished and uploaded online. This Tartary book, I started this shit in 2023. I've only wrote 4 chapters so far. I've still got 2 chapters to write. So as you can see, I'm deliberately taking my time to make sure that everything I put in my book about Tartary is not just some cap. I'm not just, oh, I heard this, so I'm going to put it in the book. I'm really researching the shit out of this thing so that we end up with a book that is like the other books that I wrote. Like it's as if I am an expert on Tartary, yeah, because I've taken so much time to really comb over these little details and really scrutinize and check the credibility of what's being said. Now, is a lot of fantastical stuff that's involved with Tartary. We're not, the way we've been programmed in our public education and in this modern world, most people, if you try and tell them certain things that you think is a new invention, we already had that shit in the 1800s and 1700s, they're going to look at you like you crazy, do you understand? Unless it's somebody who's already discovered this enigma of Tartary and they've already started doing their deep research into it. Some of you will have, right? And that's why I'm saying, I'm not, if you are somebody who's versed in Tartary, then help me get this out so that the people in this room who are not really familiar with this subject can learn and can go and scrutinize it for themselves. Yeah, that's the intention of this live here. So I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours presenting from this book what I think is the truth about Tartary, right? What else should I say? Yeah, I need you guys to hold the screen down. When you see your inbox come up, I need you guys to share this live with 5 to 10 people in your inbox, so this live can get to the people who would actually benefit from this live. If it's something that you're not interested in, you don't have to stick around. You can dip and go and look for something that suits you. You don't have to be here. But if it is something that you're into and you want to stick around for the next 2 hours, if you're somebody who's not familiar with Tartary, I suggest you get a pen and a notepad and you write down a few things where you can go away for yourself after this live and confirm a few things for yourself. But like I said, the whole concept of Tartary in itself is a mind-blowing concept based on what we've all been taught in the modern world, what we've been taught about how the world works, and inventions and the Industrial Revolution and history, especially history in terms of the timeline, right? So I'm going to start from the start of this book, and whatever's on the page, then I can expand. I can give a more general view of where I'm at with what we're reading, yeah? So this is what we're doing. So let me just leave a bit of time for more people to get in the room. Once we hit about 30, 40 people, we got 15 people right now. I need all you guys to share this live with your inbox so we can get more people into the room. That way, when people come on TikTok who interact with our page, the first thing they're likely to see is us on this live, and then they're more likely to stick around and join the live and build up the numbers and contribute to the live, right? I don't ask people for nothing, right? But these lives need to be supported because the revolution is not for free. We're in a spiritual warfare, and not because we have the word spiritual before warfare. All wars need funding. We are at war, so people like me need funding, meaning I need you guys to support what I'm doing here. Otherwise, it's not profitable, it's not sustainable, and it don't make no sense. If I'm gonna have to sit down for 2 hours, and at the end of the 2 hours there's no benefit for me, then it don't really make no sense me doing these lives no more on TikTok. So this is kind of like an experiment for me to see if me and my brand can survive on TikTok, or if I'm just gonna have to leave TikTok and go elsewhere where the stuff that I'm sharing with people will be more appreciated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, let me just give a brief for you guys before we go into the book, so we can understand what we're going to be speaking into. Let me just greet the people that are in here so far, because it's no rush. We don't have to start straight away. So let me take a few minutes just to see if any of the familiar Mafians and Mafianas is already in here. If this is your first time reaching here, I hope you stick around. I hope it's something that you're into. Like I said, this is more like an investigation into what is true about Tartaria and what is false, what is just gas, people are just capping, and Chinese whispering the thing, adding on all type of shit that we can't really confirm for ourselves. Of course, there will be certain things that we can't confirm. It's either you believe or don't believe, like a religion, because there's certain things in history that have just been wiped out. The trail leads nowhere. So in a case like that, I'm gonna have to tell you guys, well, there's no evidence for this, you know, this piece here, but based on what we're doing and other things that are true, we may be able to say, well, I'm leaning towards that is true, based on this, this, and this. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're doing an investigation now. Tartaria is to do with a region in Russia, right, that became an empire covering a vast tract of Russia. Russia's massive. And so this Tartaria now, or also called Great Tartary, right, is an empire that was based on the polar opposite of what all the empires in the world today are based on. Like, it wasn't based on war, it wasn't based on the control of energy, it wasn't based on centralized governments and the centralization of power, it wasn't based on corporations or privatization, it was based on all the opposite stuff of that, right? And Tartaria, it seems to be discovered advanced technology before history told us advanced technology was supposed to be in the world. So when they tell us stuff about flight and the creation of the light bulb, electricity, Nikola Tesla, the Industrial Revolution, all of them are red herrings. They put them out to divert us. So the official history timeline is not really the real timeline. And where the discrepancy comes in is around the 1800s, which was the last time this world was completely reset. And if you think about things like slavery and stuff, slavery was abolished in 1822. So as you can see, okay, the world's gone into a new phase, because even slavery and stuff is now gone. Now we've come into the modern world, right, which is kind of like a clean slate. And then they start introducing certain things back into society and telling us this is the first time that society's had these things like flight and electricity and certain robotics, even things like mobile phone and social media and FaceTime and Skype. All of those shits, based on what we've found in Tartaria, was already here. They was continuing a legacy of knowledge, wisdom and understanding that came from Egypt, that before it came to Egypt came from Atlantis, that before it came from Atlantis came from Lemuria, and us as humans, we never forgot that knowledge until we were made to forget. Also, Tartary seems to be a situation where humans got past all of the vices that we're dealing with now. So stuff like classism, racism, sexism, religious isms, all of them shits was cleared out the way. We never had none of that when we peaked in Tartary. Now there is a few books out called, the first one called The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Walls. Yes, it's about Antarctica, but Antarctica and Tartary are actually joined at the hip like Siamese twins. There's even some people who will go as far as suggesting Tartary was in Antarctica. Now, as I've said in my book, in the 4 chapters that I've wrote so far, Tartary wasn't in one place. Yes, it started in Russia, or what we call in Siberia, yeah, but then it became a global empire because the idea of free energy and advanced technology and people living together, black, white and otherwise, all that type of shit kind of spread. It's something that would take off around the world, right? So it did. So Tartary was also in America. Tartary was the empire, the idea. Tartary was already in Europe. It was already in North Africa. It was already in Western Asia. And then, as we said, something happened in the 1800s, a massive calamity that they don't record in official history. They're not telling you this in school or in public education or none of the history books. They change shit. They even changed the timeline. So when we're looking back now, there's no Tartary because they didn't just get rid of Tartary. More importantly, they got rid of any memory of Tartary so that it would never come again. That way, now we can have the world as it is today. A few men controlling all the resources, controlling all the fucking money, which we call centralization or the centralization of power. Big corporations, big tech, big pharma, all of this type of stuff, right? So let me jump into this book. Hold on, I didn't shout nobody out. Shout out to Jane89, yeah? Your day, yeah? And yeah, guys, I need you to like up the thing. Picture us in a Viking rowing boat, and I'm Ragnar Lothbrok, and I'm telling you, yo, we're going to England to raid out England, yeah? And we're going to raid England of all the half-truths and whole lies. Just imagine this scenario, yeah? So we're on one of them Viking longships. So all you who are doing this on the screen, that's you rowing, yeah? If you're not tapping or hitting the heart me or sharing this on your stories or sending some type of gift, helping me fill out the gift gallery, then you're just sitting on the boat like this. We might as well dash you over the side because you're not really helping us get to where we need to get. Every man and woman needs to be doing their part in the rowing, and I know it's annoying. I watch other people's lives, and sometimes I'm tapping and I'm trying to listen and I'm tapping at the same time, and it is annoying, but it is a good way for us to give back to the people who are putting themselves out and putting themselves on the front line. We don't get to do this on Facebook. We don't get to gift people on Instagram. We don't get to gift people on YouTube in the same way that we do on TikTok. So we should not neglect this, because like I said, all wars need funding. Even if after this live they tell me, yo, you made £20 out of this live, at least it's something where I can go and buy a drink where the sun is hot or whatever. But if I'm finishing the live and TikTok's telling me, well, the people didn't really support you because this shit's only worth 15p or 20p, then that's telling me, okay, they don't really appreciate this stuff, what I'm trying to share with them online. And that's why I keep reiterating, I need you guys to give back, because what I'm giving here is my time, yeah? And I'd rather you take my money than, and I ain't got money, but I'd rather you take any little money I've got around me than for you to take my time. I can get the money back. I can go and do some little work somewhere and make some money, but I can never get this time back that I'm sitting down with you guys and revealing this type of shit with you. It's like someone the other day came and they said, oh, your books are a bit expensive, you know, you should make it lower. Yeah, that's like telling Picasso, your painting ain't worth 1 million. None of us have the right to tell a man how to price his work, right? And this is, I've been selling books for 9 years, right? And this is the first time somebody's come and said that to me. Yeah, and I wanted to say to him, I didn't, but I wanted to say to him, yo, if you see an iPhone and you value that iPhone and they tell you this iPhone 19 or whatever it is £1,200, right? I've never spent that much money on a phone, yeah? But a lot of us will see the value in that phone and we won't feel no way about spending that £1,200 on a phone. But when it comes to a book, now I tell people, you're not paying for the knowledge I'm sharing with you, you know? You're paying for my time. The time it takes me to sit down and make these books for you, that's what you're paying for. Anybody around me knows the knowledge is for free. If you came to my yard, me and you would sit down and build for the whole day for free. I'm not charging you for knowledge. I'm charging you for my time. Because time is money, time is of the essence, and time is now a luxury I can't afford. I don't have time to just give away to people. So it has to make sense for me. It has to be beneficial for me. Otherwise, why am I doing this? I may as well go and get a 9 to 5 job and work that way. At least it's stable. At least I know at the end of the month I'm going to get this much money. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I think with us, with black people, because we've been cheated so much, and we got people like Dr. Umar, who's taking people's money for the whole last 15 years, saying he's going to build a school, and then 15 years later there's still no school. So because we've been conned by these charlatans so much, it's kind of like left black people in a kind of, yo, I don't really want to put my money. My man might be a charlatan, maybe. You understand? So we have to get away from that, because it's hurting us, meaning that people like me are not feeling supported, meaning we're not going to want to come and share our time or our expertise with people because we're not going to be rewarded for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also, the platforms like TikTok, they're not going to reward me, say, oh, you did a good job, you're waking people up, oh, we really love this here, we're going to give you this reward. There's no pension for us, there's no reward for us. If this doesn't work, what we're doing, whether it's with writing books or whatever, we're in the dumps. You understand? There's no support system. And remember, where the world is going, a lot of us are going to be in this situation soon. Your job might not be there for you in the next 2-3 years because the AI is doing your job better than you did. There's no reason for them to hire you no more. So if we're not out here trying to support each other on every level, what's the point? Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's go forward, yeah? Let me drop this for you. Okay, so this first part of the book is just, he says, is a few things we need to know before he gets into the meat and potatoes of what's in the book. Do you get me? So let me go through a couple of these things here for you guys, yeah? Yeah, so I'm just going to bullet point what he's saying here. And then if I need to expand, I'll expand, yeah? So the index table of contents, it starts, introduction. You won't believe this erased part of history, yeah? What was Tartaria? Why was it erased? So that's initial, that's the intention of our investigation. We want to know what exactly was this Tartaria, and we want to know why was this shit erased. Do you understand what I'm saying? It says part 1, the rise and fall of Tartaria. Yeah, 1, Tartaria, the advanced civilization erased from history. Yeah, bullet point, Tartaria's true global reach. Yeah, bullet point, the mysterious ancient maps. Bullet point, signs of a suppressed civilization. 2, the mud flood. You may have heard of the mud flood before. We're going to go into the mud flood. The great reset of the 19th century. What was the mud flood? Yeah? Is it evidence of a global cataclysm that they never really told? Our authorities wiped it out the history books. They don't want us to know about this global cataclysm. And so we got to think, why do they not want us to know about this global cataclysm, right? Was the mud flood engineered, or was it natural? Was it a natural thing, or is it something that the authorities did, or non-humans did? We know there's reptilians and all kind of off-world beings that's infiltrated our governments, and they've been here for a while. They didn't come just yesterday. They've been here from even before man was here. So was it them? Was it just a human thing? We need to find these things out. So we'll go into the mud flood and that, yeah? 3, rewriting history. How Tartaria was erased. How did they do it? How did they wipe that shit out from our memory, right? The removal of Tartaria from maps and textbooks. Were they changing maps in and around the 17th and 18th centuries? Did they change up a whole bunch of shit so the maps we've got today is not really reflective of this world? This ties into Antarctica and the ice walls and the flat earth and all that shit. Have we been conned? Because ultimately, we can't really say concrete, yes, the world is definitely 110% it's a flat earth. And at the same time, we can't say, listen, what they taught us in school is 100% definitely accurate. That we're on a globe and everything's positioned how they show us on the map, and they're not hiding nothing. It's just people with conspiracy theories, right? So we have to explore both ways, right? You guys with me? the role of the world fairs. Have you ever heard about the world fairs? If you haven't, these world fairs are shocking and they're going to blow your mind when we get into them, right? The role of world fairs in hiding Tartarian architecture, right? Was that the role that they was really playing? We'll get into that. The orphan trains. Have you guys ever heard of the orphan trains? Yeah? The orphan trains and population replacement, yeah? Part 2, the technology and the wisdom of Tartaria, right? So bullet point, Tartaria's forgotten free energy system. Free energy, right? Etheric energy, which is called 0 point energy. The science of harnessing power from the air, just like the ancient Cometians done and others did also, yeah? Was that what Tartaria was all about, right? Because remember, you can't monetize free energy. Governments, corporations, they can't sell it. They can't monetize it. It's like a car that works with water. They don't want a car that works with water because they can't make no money off it. All of us have got access to water. If we could just throw water in our car gas tank and drive about, then all these oil companies who are making multi-billions and trillions of dollars off me and you, they're not going to be around no more. All these energy companies that are charging you to heat up your home or charging you to be able to cook food, they won't be around no more. All them millions and trillions and billions is gone. And they don't want to lose none of that. Do you understand? Domes, spires, and antennae, yeah, which we'll call antiquitech. The technology Tartary was using upon its architecture, where the buildings themselves are drawing energy out of the air. So your home is run on free energy because of the antennas and stuff that they're called churches and stuff now. But these buildings, when you see the antennas and spires and stuff on there, which have mostly now been removed, was it a secret free energy technology that Tartaria was using? And because these elites couldn't monetize nothing there, they thought, you know what, we'll wipe out this Tartaria thing, because it's either that or ours. These two worlds can't exist on the same earth. It's either we're going to have this free energy civilization or we're going to have this monetized civilization that we have. The monetized civilization, did it win? Was there actually an alternative way of living before we came into this modern world? And did our governments help in erasing any trace of that previous world so that they can push this world where they're charging you for near enough everything? They might start charging you for air soon. Yo, you need to pay money to breathe. Just like you're being charged for water, you have to pay to live on the planet. No other animal has to pay to live on the planet other than you. And we're calling ourselves the smartest animal, but we're paying. We need police, we need governments to make all our decisions for us and all this type of shit, right? Comparisons with Nikola Tesla's wireless energy. Did Nikola Tesla, was he onto something when he started discovering all of this shit and tried to give it to the world? Rather than sell it to the world, he wanted to give the world back free energy. He wanted to give the world back all these innovations, medical solutions and all type of shit that would have made our life a whole lot easier than it is now. All of us are suffering from the cost of living now and the energy crisis that come along with it. Look at Iran. They're fighting over a piece of water because that's where the energy is, meaning they want to ship all the oil through the Straits of Hormuz. So the Straits of Hormuz is now a trouble spot because America won it. Iran says it's ours, it's in our backyard. China operate there, Russia operate there. The whole world's economy operates on the Straits of Hormuz because of energy. So if we was in a situation where we had free energy, we wouldn't even have none of these wars in Ukraine for land minerals or Hormuz for the shipping routes for oil. None of this shit would even matter. It wouldn't be necessary. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? So did Nikola Tesla, was he onto something when he started showing us these things? And it makes sense because they don't teach us about Nikola Tesla in school. They're teaching us about Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison. And when Einstein was alive, they asked him, how does it feel to be the smartest man in the world? He says, I don't know. You need to ask Nikola Tesla. So at least he was honest. He's like, yo, why are you asking me? I'm not the smartest man in the world. You should ask Nikola Tesla. According to me, Einstein, he's the smartest cat in the world. But still, they don't teach you about Nikola Tesla in school. Why? Elon Musk is going to name this whole company after this guy, Nikola Tesla. Right? So there must be something that they're hiding from us. Why do they not want to teach us about this dude and what he was bringing to the world? We're going to get into it because MacBook, phone, TV, radio, all of this shit is Nikola Tesla's. Einstein didn't invent it. Nikola Tesla did. Yeah, but they don't teach us about him. Why are they hiding him? You understand? You got some people that say, oh, Nikola Tesla never existed. My research says he definitely did exist, right? So that's the vein I'm going to go down. Are they hiding something in Nikola Tesla? And because they're hiding so much, makes people be able to say, oh, this guy never existed. It's just some type of hoax. You understand? But even Dr. York and them talk about Nikola Tesla and what he did. Dr. York even says he wasn't a human. He was sent to Earth to give the Earth solutions, meaning YT. He was sent to them to give them solutions so they could stop doing what they're doing. And what they did is take all of his shit and use it for the wrong purpose, right? While they made him, he passed broke. When he passed, he was broke. They harassed him for all his stuff. And then when he passed, Donald Trump's uncle, I think his name's John Trump, was the guy who the CIA sent to take all of Nikola Tesla's stuff that Nikola Tesla was working on. We're talking time machines and the whole shit, right? So, star forts. Have you ever heard of star forts, guys? Star forts and the global energy grid. Is this Earth, like the surface of the Earth, like a computer motherboard, right? Are we living on a circuit board Earth, okay? Where star forts and stuff is a part of this energy grid, yeah? Key sites like the Giza pyramids and Glastonbury and Stonehenge, are these like the anodes on the ley lines and meridians where this energy travels through the world. So if you notice, all the churches are built on ley lines, all the mosques, yeah, sports stadiums, they're built on places which harness the energy. So when you see people in a sports stadium cheering their team and that, yeah, is that an energy harvest? Are we being harvested for our energy as to why we can't push back against the government? As to why we can't have no revolutions in this new day and age? Because all our energy is being siphoned off, yeah? Whether it's through watching porn, whether it's through watching sports and yeah, our energy is being harvested. Do you understand? Who is it that's harvesting our energy? Is this thing real, right? So how do the star forts play into that? We'll come into the star forts, yeah? And are they energy conductors and vibrational amplifiers? Yeah, as I said, alignment with ley lines, and how does that fit into sacred geometry? As I said, is this Earth and all its canals, all the roads and stuff, just ways for the energy to travel around the world, just like we use them to travel? The energy travels around these routes also, right? 6, transportation marvels. Airships. In Tartaria, they had airships before we were supposed to be flying. So forget about the Wright brothers. Oh, the Wright brothers invented flight in the 19th century, whatever year it was. Did we have flight before then? And if so, why have they not told us this, right? Intricate rail systems, all of these trains and railway lines that they find them. They don't make them, they dig them up from underground. The mud flood put a layer of mud over everything. So when they dig, they're often finding stuff that's not supposed to be there. It's unexplained. They're finding railways and shit that go back hundreds of years before there was any railways. You understand? The suppression of efficient transport. Like I'm saying, now they're charging you to put oil in your car. Yeah? And the oil money is going up and up and up. The oil that you put in the car isn't stretching as far as it used to stretch. Are they diluting the oil? Are they mixing the shit with water? I started thinking that. I put some gas in my car when it's supposed to be like, when I'm supposed to get like 65 miles. I'm now getting 45 miles for the same money. Do you understand? And then even when I am getting 65 miles, it seems to be going down pretty quickly. It's like, hey, this shit never used to, is my car leaking or some shit like that? Yeah? So is the transportation really being suppressed and we being controlled? Because remember, the best way for you to control anybody is to control energy. Whoever controls energy in the world controls the world. Forget religion, right? Energy is what is controlling people. If you didn't have to buy gas or have to pay a gas bill for your house, or you didn't have to put petrol in your car, gas in your car, you could just move freely. The government, it would be harder for any government or anybody to control you because you're your own sovereignty. You understand? You don't have to answer to these people. But because they've put us in this situation where don't nobody know about free energy, and it's something simple, you can make free energy in your yard. But because they've took us so far away from it, we've all just collectively agreed to live in this system where we're paying these big gas companies, Shell, and all these British Gas, N-Power, basically all your wages is going on you, keeping your house warm and cooking your food. We're not supposed to spend any money to keep warm or to cook food. That shit's supposed to be free. Do you understand? Anyway, healing through resonance. Tartary has forgotten medical science. Like you see them big massive bells and they're digging up fields and there's all these massive copper bells. I'm talking about thousands of them. Somebody's just buried them in the ground and all of them are cracked. Yeah? Is this another suppression? Is it to do with resonance and sound healing? Right? Because it's saying that, like, let's say somebody had a tumor is growing on them and shit, then they will put you under one of them bells and bang, bang the bell, and the resonance alone, when you're standing under that bell, will break apart that tumor that's growing on your leg or growing in your body. It will just break it apart. So our medicine was totally different. We had a homeopathic type of medicine or medical knowledge around the world. And in the 1900s, that was changed by the Rockefellers as to now where we have what's called allopathic medicine. If you don't know what allopathic medicine is, write that down. Allopathic, A-L-L-O-P-A-T-H-I-C. Allopathic, write it down and do your own study of what's this thing really about. Because then you're going to come into the real intention of vaxes, all of them. I'm not just talking about CV19, I'm talking about the whole concept of vaccines, that you need something alien in your body because your immune system is not strong enough for you to live in this world. That's basically allopathic medicine. That's the theory behind it. Your body, your human body, that immune system that the Most High gave you, they're telling you that's not adequate for you to live in the world. So how was people living before all of this medical this and NHS this and that? Are you trying to tell me nobody was able to deal with the common cold or the flu or whatever? Did they even have that in the ancient world? Because the science says all of them shits is man-made. Seasonal flu, fucking coughs and cold, all of that's man-made. Do you understand? None of that shit used to exist in the previous world. Because we're living so unnaturally now, there's a whole bunch of unnatural shit that's happening to us. I'll give you two. Dementia, that's not natural. Yeah? Alzheimer's, that's not natural. Sciatica, that's not natural. Yeah? So is this a case of, because we've gone so far from the natural order of things, are we now having all of these repercussions that shouldn't really be here and that's messing around with the human biosystem, right? So sound and vibration therapy, which is called wazufa, water and electromagnetic healing, the role of sacred architecture in our well-being. Are we in the wrong type of shaped housing and stuff? When you look at the old world, the 1800s, 1700s, them buildings look much prettier than the buildings that are going up now. The buildings that are going up now is boring. They all look the same. You go down your street, everyone's house looks exactly the same. Like they were built out of Lego or stucco blocks. It looks all cheap, yeah? Where now it's just built for function. Where before it was built for beauty too. Everything was, you see all these intricate carvings and intricate details. Can we even build like that anymore? Right? And is that sort of building more in line with the human biosystem, which makes us healthier beings and is a part of the medical kind of knowledge that we had in the world at that time? Yeah. Part 3, Tartary's spiritual and social legacy. The spiritual wisdom of Tartaria. What type of spirituality was Tartaria running off? Because it weren't the Christianity that you've been told about today. It wasn't none of that Islam stuff that you've been taught about today. It wasn't none of that Judaism stuff that you've been taught about today. So what were they dealing with as to how they could reach that stage where they have this vast, beautiful, advanced civilization which is spreading around the globe and taking over everything, right? Sacred geometry and the science of resonance. Tartaria's understanding of collective consciousness, yeah? Tartaria's governance and social structure, like I said, the decentralized power. Everybody had a part in the power. No one man had all the power in his hands. Like Donald Trump, the president of the United States. He makes all the decisions. He don't have to tell you. He can just press a button. I'm nuking this guy today, right? So the absence of hierarchy, yeah? Education. When did this public education shit that we're in today, when did that first start happening? And before that public education system came in, what was the education system before? How did people learn before? Who was responsible for teaching before? Was it mum and dad? Did you learn in your house, among your own family? Before they put us 12 hours a day in this redundant system where they're brainwashing us with what they're telling us is the history of the earth, or the truth of the earth, or the truth of science, and all that type of shit, right? The awakening. Why are people now just all of a sudden just talking about this Tartaria thing? Where did it come from? Is it a part of the reawakening of consciousness? Are humans remembering something that they've been made to forget, but that we can't forget? Because every now and then it will come back to, yo, the people are waking up again. You know what? We're going to do a great reset, as WEF Claude Schwab says. Yo, we're going to have to reset the world again, you know, because people are waking up. Because apparently, every 200 years, these memories come back to humans. They can't stop us from remembering. They can delay it, they can divert it, but in the end, more and more people are just going to start, hold on, this is not it, man. This ain't life the way we're living here. We're living in a chicken farm. This is a slavery, an extension of slavery. It's no different. Slavery never ended. Do you understand what I'm saying? The role of researchers and truth seekers like myself, right? What this means for the future of humanity, right? Are we at the crossroads where we now get to choose again? Listen, we've had enough of this political system. We need to go this way. Is humanity at that crossroads right now again, right? Part 4, reawakening Tartaria's legacy. Let me speed up. Modern clues, signs of Tartaria in today's world, buried architecture and sunken cities, rediscovering free energy principles, star forts and their hidden history. 12, Tartaria in 2025. This book came out last year in 2025. Reimagining the lost civilization. Theories on how we can reintegrate Tartarian knowledge. The 2025 Tartarian architectural vision, right? What a Tartarian inspired future could look like. What do you think that would look like based on just these bullet points what I've given you so far? The Tartarian image library, a visual journey. High revolution restorations of ancient Tartarian buildings. Exclusive 2025 AI generated Tartarian architecture. What does the AI say about Tartaria? Now we can ask AI anything. Well, almost anything, right? Because you can't ask it about God and shit. It goes silent. But anyway, what does it say about Tartaria, right? Forgotten cityscapes and their modern day remnants. The future. How can we rebuild a Tartarian society? Embracing Tartaria's knowledge to rebuild our world. Breaking free from the lies of scarcity. Scarcity is inbuilt into your modern world. When you see stuff like stock market crashing, that it's not a mistake. That's how your system's built. It runs off scarcity. They have to be able to tell you, yo, there's an energy crisis and that guy's a dictator, so we're going to go over there and bomb him, right? It's inbuilt into your system. It's not a flaw in the system. It's inbuilt in the system. The system has to have poverty. It has to have scarcity. All of that shit there is manufactured. We might think, oh, them people there are poor. They're just whatless. They don't do nothing for themselves. It's a poor country. It was made that way. There's no such thing as a poor country on earth. There's no such thing as scarcity on earth. There's an abundance of everything on Mother Gaia. There's enough water for all of us. There's enough air for all of us. There's enough space for all of us. There's enough wood for all of us. Yeah, you can give every human on the planet $2-3 million each. One person shouldn't have 500 trillion. One person like the Queen or Elon Musk or the Rothschilds family. Why do they need all of that money? Why not get rid of poverty? Michael Jackson on himself in the 80s cut poverty in half, and they never even told us. Yeah, the Queen, who was worth, they said she was worth 500 trillion on the royal family. She could have ended poverty and still be a billionaire. So why do they not end poverty? Like I told you, it's inbuilt into your system. For this system to function, they need war, they need scarcity, they need poverty. It's parts of the system that we're in now that we're calling capitalism. Is capitalism really the enemy? When they're telling you, yo, communism is the enemy and socialism is the enemy and we're in a democratic system and this is capitalism. Capitalism creates people like Elon Musk, where he can have 100 trillion while that whole village there don't have nothing to eat or they don't have no running water, right? So is capitalism some type of greed, some type of YT fantasy, and they've sold it to us like this is the best way for us to live? And the only people doing well is them little group of elite people. All of us, we are having to graft, yeah, for some shit pension, right? Is capitalism the enemy, right? a new golden age. When we talk about new earth, is that us seeing now these memories are coming back? Are we seeing how we're supposed to be living? Do we really want to leave our children in this world and our grandchildren? Don't we want to leave them in a better situation than what we was in when we here having to do so much for so little, right? Conclusion, the truth can no longer be hidden. What happens now, right? Because as I said earlier, reality is not written in stone. Reality is created moment by moment by the decisions we make in the now. The future is created by every decision you make right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not written in stone. It's based on what you do now in the present, which is a gift. It's called a present. It's a present for you. This now, yeah? And a lot of us don't open the present. We're projecting into the future or we're stuck in the past. The magic is in the moment, is in now, yeah? How you can spread this knowledge, right? Because we know we're getting kickback from all of these apps, these TikToks, these Facebooks. They're going to strike you with community guidelines from you try and get too deep into this type of discussion. And let me tell you something. They'd rather you talk about aliens than talk about free energy. Free energy will get you murked. You come, oh, this guy, we found him unalived in his house. They don't want you to speak about this. They'd rather you talk about aliens and shit. As you see now, they've dashed out the alien files because they don't want to speak about the Frankenstein, you know what I'm talking about, files. Yo, just give them aliens. Because that will stop them from looking at this Epstein thing. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, you're going to have to give them aliens, you know, President, because that's the only thing that's going to take their eyes off what's going on with all these PDFs and shit. You are just going to have to release the alien files. Yeah, is this what's going on? Even with Tartaria, they can't have you speaking about this free energy shit. They have to keep it a conspiracy theory because now everybody's talking about it. So they can't stop it. But what they can do is make sure that it remains a conspiracy theory. People look at it like it's just some type of tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It's not real. It's not real history. People are just gone out far out there. That's what they're doing now because they can't stop us from talking about this no more. So now they have to make it seem like it's just some type of far out there conspiracy and the people who are talking about it are all mad. Jadefre, all of them, they're mad people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah? The movement to restore Tartaria's legacy. So let me talk about this first. You may notice in your city, yeah, certain buildings, the doors and the windows are half buried underground. Why are these buildings got windows that half the windows above ground and half the window is below ground? Like, who builds buildings like this in the world today? There's no modern building where they're going to build it and half the windows underground. So what happened here? Is this a part of the mud flood? Is the mud flood real, right? Based on my research, it's very real, right? I can even give you dates about it, but let me just read like I'm reading from the book and then I'll stop when I need to, yeah? The spark behind the book. 3 decades ago, I left the Caribbean, Curaçao, yeah? And moved to a small village, a place unlike any other I had seen before. It was a hidden gem built by migrants, functioning like its own small nation. We had our own economy, our own stores, and most importantly, our own rhythm, yeah? It was a community built on unity, simplicity, and self-reliance. In a world that often feels disconnected, this place was proof that harmony and independence was still possible. But peace rarely lasts in a world driven by control. Eventually, the government decided that our village could no longer exist as it was. Piece by piece, it was dismantled, not just physically, but spiritually, yeah? We were scattered, pushed into a modern world that was louder, faster, and far more disconnected. I found myself in a city filled with towering cathedrals, monumental government buildings, and structures that fell out of place in both time and logic, right? I think this is the place he's talking about that he used to live. See how beautiful that looks compared to the city you live in now? Look at the colour in it. You go outside and how much colour is in your street? None, right? Unless you live in the Caribbean and you're watching from the Caribbean. That's when my curiosity truly began. I started noticing things, windows buried beneath the ground. Buildings far too advanced for the time that they said, yo, this building was made in the 1700s or whatever they said it was made, yeah? Far too advanced for the time they were supposedly built. An architecture that seemed to follow patterns I couldn't yet explain. Who really built these structures? Why do so many ancient buildings carry the same design elements across different continents? So all over the world, you're seeing, hold on, these buildings look the same as the buildings in England, these buildings here. Hold on, these buildings here, even in China, these buildings here look like Tartarian built. Yo, in Rome here, this shit here looks like some Tartarian shit. Yo, over here, you understand what I'm saying? Why? Why are so many similarities between, they're not supposed to all have the same type of thoughts and come up with the same type of shit unless it's a unified whole where everybody's in a system that works for humans. Do you understand? Why do so many ancient buildings carry the same design elements across different continents? And why does history seem to repeat certain patterns, not in coincidence, but in design? The answers began surfacing unexpectedly. A friend of mine uncovered a mysterious artifact. It wasn't just the object itself, but the energy that came with it. It stirred something inside me. It was as if my soul remembered something my mind had forgotten. Around the same time, TikTok, and other platforms started flooding with hidden history content. One name kept popping up again and again. Tartaria, 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 At first, I thought it was just another theory. But me too. But the deeper I dove, the more things aligned. Ancient maps, star thought, suppressed inventions, and the idea of a global civilization wiped clean from mainstream memory. All of it resonated deeply. What if history as we know it is not just incomplete, but deliberately rewritten, right? This book is not a collection of theories. It's a journey, my journey, through forgotten truths, real discoveries, and unexplained knowledge. It's the result of countless hours spent researching, cross-referencing, and reflecting. But more than that, it's a call for you to look again, to question what you were taught, to feel what your ancestors might be trying to tell you through your DNA, your dreams, and your intuition. Tartaria might not be taught in schools, but its traces are all around us if you're willing to see, right? Because you have to be brave enough to accept the truth right now. The truth takes bravery, guys, right? This is just the beginning. P.S. This is my first book. I hope you enjoy it. Shout out to the author, Shudwini Noventa. Shout out to him, man. Because even in just them few pages, he's connected with me. I don't know about you guys watching, but just them few pages alone has connected with me, For more, visit TartarianEmpire.com and join the journey of remembering. So he's got TartariaEmpire.com, so we should all go and have a look and support the brother. If you want all the images and visuals, visit that TartariaEmpire.com. Before you begin, it says here, a key to the forgotten. This is not just a book, it's a reclamation. Within these pages, you'll encounter ancient maps that don't match modern borders, cities that weren't built but uncovered, and civilizations that have been erased from collective memory. Tartaria Full Hidden History Unlocked is your invitation to question everything from the layout of your hometown to the architecture you walk past every day. This is your compass for exploring a world before the reset in the 1800s. What you'll discover: advanced technology, architecture buried beneath modern cities, evidence of global star thoughts, energy grids, and sacred geometry, suppressed empires and alternate timelines. Cartography is the making of maps, So cartographic is map, to do with maps. Cartographic proof of lands and civilizations that you were never taught about in school. Real locations you can visit today to see the evidence with your own eyes, right? Ready to go deeper? So I can skip out all that and just jump into the book, right. Global evidence, what the earth tells us. Traditional geology attributes soil layers, sediment and accumulation and erosion patterns to long-term natural processes like glaciation, floods, tectonic shifts, and wind erosion. However, in many cities worldwide, we find strange uniform layers of fine silt or mud that seem to have appeared suddenly, all at once, and inexplicably, that mud flood, Common geological questions raised. Why are entire buildings partially buried beneath modern street levels? Why we got streets under streets? and buildings under buildings, right? Why do we find windows and doors 2 to 3 meters below the surface all across Europe, yeah, Asia and the Americas? This can't be a coincidence. Something had to have happened. People don't build their shit half buried in the ground, right? Could a widespread liquefaction event or atmospheric discharge have caused global mud burial? Mainstream geology does recognize localized liquefaction, a phenomenon where saturated soil behaves like liquid during earthquakes, causing buildings to sink. But this explanation fails to account for 1. Consistent elevation of mud coverage across vast urban areas. 2. Flat mud layering across thousands of square kilometers with no signs of topographical flow or variation. Topography is the science of the study of the shape of the surface of the land. So topographical flow or variation, yeah? The lack of building damage consistent with sinking rather than burial. So if these buildings sank, there should be more damage that we see on the buildings, like maybe the roof got cracked or some shit like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But we don't see no evidence of that, right? Additionally, mud flood theorists point to plaster and soot found beneath layers of earth, suggesting settlements were fully functional before being buried, not ancient ruins, long decayed and overtaken by nature. Carbon dating and stratigraphy, the tools of time, or are they the tools of control? Two of the most relied upon tools for dating history are radiocarbon dating, which is a false science, and stratigraphy, yeah? Both are essential in constructing historical timelines, but both have limitations and inconsistencies that spark controversy. That's why I say it's fake, yeah, carbon dating. Radiocarbon dating, which is C14 dating, I speak about this in my book because I'm not a fan of it. Carbon dating is they measure the amount of carbon, yeah, in a living thing, can tell you how old that thing is, a tree, human, whatever, right? But the problem I have with radiocarbon dating is they're radiocarbon dating stones and shit, and you can't do that. Even in the case of, let's say, the pyramids, right? Even if there's people there, right, they could have been people from a later time who's moved into the area and now they inherited this area and using this area. So you can't just dig up a body from this region and then say, okay, this place is only 2,000 years old, because that person that we found only goes back to 2000, only goes back to 1 AD. Yeah, that's not telling us nothing. That person could be some stranger or somebody who came in 10,000 years after this site was already built. So how is that going to tell us anything? But that's what they're doing to tell you, oh, well, this pyramids in America, it only goes back to 500 AD. This Olmec, that could raw go back to 20,000 years ago. But they trying to tell you it only goes back to 500 AD. This is why Dr. York says, don't accept none of the dates that this guy gives you, because they're liars. John 8:44, they are liars. Donald Trump is a liar. All the politicians are liars that look like this. They're liars. Yeah, even their own people know that. These men are liars. They've not said nothing true. You understand what I'm saying? So why should we believe Egyptologists or scholars who tell us this shit here is only 400 years old or this shit here is only 500? No. Do you understand? So radiocarbon dating, yes, you can use it to date living things and stuff, but are they using it in the right way? They can still be conning us with this radiocarbon dating shit. And it can't be used to date stones and stuff, but they still trying to use it to date stones and inorganic shit. Make it make sense, yeah? Carbon dating measures the decay of radioactive carbon isotopes in organic material. It is considered accurate up to around 50,000 years, but it comes with significant challenges. 1. Organic material must be present. Many buildings, domes and metallic artifacts from Tartaria lack this. There's no organic material there, so they can't date it with no fucking carbon dating. Do you understand what I'm saying? Contamination, yeah, from groundwater, modern materials or preservation techniques can corrupt results, yeah. 3. Calibration curves used to correct radiocarbon dating are based on assumptions, it's guesswork, yeah, about solar activity and atmospheric carbon levels, variables that may have fluctuated widely, especially after a cataclysmic event like the mud flood. Notably, multiple Tartarian era buildings like cathedrals in Eastern Europe or star forts in Africa have no carbon dating on record, because they are stone, brick or composite. It's inorganic. Instead, their construction dates rely on historical documentation, which, as mud flood theorists argue, may have been rewritten post-reset. After the reset, they rewrit them documents to make them fit into the new narrative that they're trying to tell you. Yeah. Stratigraphy. Stratigraphy studies layers of soil and sediment to establish relative timelines. Yeah. Older layers are deeper and newer ones stack on top unless disrupted. So it's also called the cultural layer, which, like, let's say in the next will have risen by about a centimeter, maybe 2 centimeters, but not 2 to 3 Ross Clark meters. That is not a cultural layer. Cultural layer takes about 100 years just to raise 1 fucking centimeter. And you're trying to tell us since 1800 we've got 2-3 meters of mud still evenly distributed all across Europe, all across the Americas, and all across Asia. Get out of here. Do you understand? Mud flood supporters point to examples where silt layers engulf entire street levels, yet the sediment shows no trace of natural waterborne layering. Example, alluvial fans or delta formation. And also, in the cultural layer, let's say we've got 10 centimeters of cultural layer, right, that have built up over the space of 200-300 years, right? That means we're supposed to find human stuff inside that cultural layer. Like you might find a cup, or you might find a fucking spoon, or you might find somebody's comb or a toothbrush, because it's us living, and what we're doing is causing the shit to rise. We're leaving stuff on the floor and shit. So we're supposed to find stuff in this cultural layer, and it's only like this. Like it takes like 100 years just for 1 centimeter, right? But in this Tartary thing, this mud flood thing, it's just mud, evenly distributed. There's no fucking utensils or clues of human habitation or nothing. Therefore, they can't tell us that this is just a cultural layer. If you know what a cultural layer is, I do, because I write history books. You understand? So that can't work for me about them talking about cultural layer. You guys with me, yeah? So yeah, we're finding silt engulf entire street levels, yet the sediment shows no trace of natural waterborne layering, yeah? 2. Artifacts from different centuries appear in the same strata, yeah, violating stratigraphic logic, yeah. Foundation stones, pavements and doorways exist below original ground levels with no apparent reconstruction, yeah, as if someone built it into the ground with the window half buried in shit. Make it make sense, right? These anomalies suggest a rapid, unnatural deposit of material meaning all at once. Not over time, over the space of 100 years, this cultural layers building up. No, someone just dumped a whole bunch of mud one time, yeah, and buried shit. That's what the evidence says, right? The curious case of urban excavation. When modern cities dig for plumbing, transit systems or foundations, they often uncover 1. Entire first floors of buildings buried beneath the current ground, yeah? 2. Archways, staircases and even shops, man, that show signs of prior use before burial, right? 3. Consistent mud depth across cities, so the level is consistent, like it all came at once and just set there. Do you understand? Without signs of erosion or decay between layers, yeah? Examples include Edinburgh, Scotland. The underground city, go and Google it, contains streets, homes and shops buried and forgotten, right? Paris, France, levels beneath the catacombs reveal architecture beneath older architecture, right? What's that about? Okay, St. Petersburg, Russia, and St. Petersburg is, in my book, yo, let me just continue reading here. St. Petersburg, Russia, buildings buried halfway with basements functioning as the new ground floor. Mainstream science rarely explains why such consistent anomalies exist across unrelated cities, especially when paired with records of no construction in those eras, right? Could the earth hold a mud flood proof? In light of these patterns, we may ask, did a worldwide energetic discharge or a weapon, was it a weapon, yeah, liquefy topsoil, as some theorists claim, right? Was the early 1800s the real timeline for a planetary reset, a fact obscured by later empires? Why do geology and history textbooks avoid addressing these buried floors, sealed doors, and forgotten street levels? Final thought, data doesn't lie, but interpretations can, yeah? Science gives us tools, but tools depend on those who wield them. While the establishment uses geology and dating to maintain historical continuity, anomalies in the layers of earth and time beg for a new interpretation. Perhaps the mud flood is more than a theory. To me, it's not a theory. The evidence is out there for you to see. Perhaps it's a scientifically supported event, hidden in plain sight, buried beneath our cities and our consciousnesses, yeah? And perhaps it's time we dig a little deeper, literally and metaphorically. Certainly, here are references to studies and articles that provide insights into geological evidence, as well as discussions on carbon dating and stratigraphy. Geological evidence. Identification of mudflood layers within stalagmites, yeah? This study examines mud layers within limestone stalagmites as evidence of historical cave flood events, which could be pertinent to understanding sediment deposition events, right? Carbon dating and stratigraphy. Radiocarbon dating explained, an overview of radiocarbon dating, detailing its methodology and applications in determining the age of organic materials. University of Chicago News, yeah? Radiocarbon dating and microarchaeology. This research integrates fieldwork, stratigraphy and microarchaeology, analyzes with extensive radiocarbon dating to date monumental structures to specific time frames, yeah? Highlighting the precision and challenges of these methods. Viking bones contradict carbon-14 assumptions. An article discussing a case where radiocarbon dating of Viking bones led to controversies, illustrating potential challenges and considerations in carbon dating methodologies, right? These resources provide a foundation for understanding the scientific methods and debates related to geological events and dating techniques. So them three things there, you can look at them three things there to have a better understanding of carbon-14 dating and stratigraphy, right? Reflect, reclaim, remember. An interactive guide to your own discovery of Tartaria. This book isn't just a history lesson, it's an invitation to look at the world differently, to become a researcher, a decoder, and an explorer in your own city. Go around your city and have a look at the buildings in your city centre. Do you see any buildings with the windows half buried in the floor? Right here in the city centre in Leicester, there's loads of them. Yeah, you walk around Leicester, you're like, my God, this shit here was part of Tartaria. All these massive, the most biggest buildings and the ones that look the most impressive, them shits is half buried in the ground, Therese Claire. Do it in your city. You might shock yourself, right? Especially if you're in America. Go around and look at these buildings and see if your shit ain't half buried in the floor. If you live in London, go and look at the evidence for yourself. You understand? If you live in Scotland, wherever, go and look and you will see, you will confirm for yourself that, hold on, this can't be no coincidence here. Some shit happened and they ain't telling us, right? Tartaria may have been erased from mainstream history, but its fingerprints remain all around us, buried beneath modern cities, encoded in forgotten architecture, and embedded within your own curiosity. To help you unlock these clues, this chapter includes interactive elements designed to guide your personal journey of rediscovery. Yeah, so he's got reflection questions. Think like a Tartarian. After each major chapter, pause, yeah, and consider the following. After reading about the mud flood, have you ever seen buildings in your own town with windows or doors below ground level? For me, that answer is a resounding yes. There's loads of them. Too many to count, yeah? Why would entire first floors be underground without records of reconstruction, yeah? What year was your city founded? And do the buildings seem older than the narrative? I know Leicester, when you come into Leicester, it says, welcome to Leicester, a historical city. This is one of the oldest cities in this region. This city goes back to the Roman period and shit. The Romans was here from 41 BC and they left here in 410 AD. So Leicester goes back to Ross Clough, 41 BC. Do you understand that? It's a historical city. That's why the city is called Leicester and the shire is called Leicestershire. Any shire that's named after the city means that city is a part of the history of England. Nottingham, Nottinghamshire. Do you understand? Lincoln, Lincolnshire. Right? You don't have a Londonshire. It's just London, right? You don't have a Birminghamshire. It's just Birmingham. Those are Saxon cities, yeah? But when you go into, oh, this shit is named after, yo, them shits is very, very old. Do you understand that? Anyway, after reading about etheric energy, what modern technologies resemble Tartary's spires, domes, or towers, or that antiquity, yeah? Can energy really be three, wireless and harmonious? What do you feel in sacred places like temples, cathedrals, or pyramids? Vibration or silence? After reading about world fairs, we're going to get into them. Why build beautiful, massive buildings only to destroy them after a fair? So let's get into the world fair right now, because it's going into this shit. So I'm going to bring it up on the search engine and just read what it comes up with when I put in world fairs, so we can get an idea of what these world fairs are without me biasing the thing and just putting it in my own words. Okay, hold on. World fairs 1800, right? So this is the AI overview I'm about to read for you guys, right? So it says, the first truly international world fair was the Great Exhibition held in London in 1851, while national industrial exhibitions began in France, starting with the Paris Exposition of 1798 and continuing into the early 1800s. Global world fairs only emerged later in the 19th century. So the 19th century is the 1800s, yeah? Early national exhibitions, pre-1850. And 1850 is a very important date when it comes to this mud flood and Tartaria, but we'll get back to that date. France origins began as localized French industrial displays, such as in 1801 and 1802 in Paris, to showcase natural manufacturing. What we're saying is, all these world fairs, they're not showing no manufacturing, you know. They found these buildings and all of this technology, and they present them as if they've built it, and they present it as if they've invented it, only to dead the idea that we had advanced technology before, right? And then after these world fairs, these buildings that they said they've built up to exhibit, all of a sudden they smash it down, yeah? So the buildings that they made, yo, they're saying that they made, yeah? But these buildings are some of the most beautiful buildings, gilded mansions and shit, man, yeah, that you ever seen. And they're saying, oh, we just made it for an exhibition. And then 2 years after, oh, where's them built? Oh yeah, we knocked them all down. It was just for an exhibition. Or is it that when they say founded in 17 this and 17 that, they found it? So that's not when it was built. Oh, this was founded in 1798, and it makes you think that they built it in 17. No, it says founded. They found that shit buried in mud, dug the shit out, and told you they built it. Even when you think about the colonization of America, yeah, when they reached, these YT people reach America now, 2 years after, they got a whole city called Chicago. You telling me they built that whole fucking city in 2 years? Get out of here, man. That city was already there. The White House was already there. That goes back to Montezuma and shit. You got pictures with Montezuma, right? And the White House, Capitol Hill and shit is behind him. Now, do you think the YT came over there and built Capitol Hill and all of this infrastructure in America? Or do you think they went over there, seen what was going on, wiped out the natural population and just inherited everything? A transfer of wealth, yeah, it took 2 years. Chicago, New York, Boston. All of these shit goes back to Tartaria. They never built nothing but the roads. That's it. Do you understand? Scope. These early events were restricted to domestic goods and not open to global nations. They opened to global nations after, later on. The rise of modern world fairs. 1851, London. The Great Exhibition in the Crystal Palace. We'll get back to these Crystal Palaces. Bear with me, yeah? Marked the first official international age of world trade expositions, right? Late 1800s growth. Famous global expositions followed in Paris 1855, 1889, 1900. Philadelphia World Fair 1876. The Chicago World Fair 1893. Yeah? So that's what it says about world fairs. So now I'm saying to you, if you go and study the world fairs for yourself now and see what they're exhibiting in there, and also they got in the world fairs like an automatons, which is an ancient form of AI. Yeah, they got robots that work on themselves and shit, right? Automatons is what they're called. We've spoke about this before. They've got what you call foundlings. All of these babies just in incubators, incubator babies. We're going to get into that. Cabbage patch children, we're going to get into that. Do you understand? So all of this type of stuff is what they're displaying in these world fairs. And they was displaying prosthetic limbs. Yeah, a whole bunch of prosthetic legs in glass cases and shit, prosthetic arms, yeah, because these people are clones. These, yeah, and back then they needed spare parts. Yo, you need a backbone here, we got a backbone for you. What, your leg gone? You need a left leg here, we got a left leg for you. Put that on. It sounds crazy, I know, but this is what's been going on without us even knowing why they're giving us this bullshit history, what we call official history, right? Hold on. Yeah, after reading about world fairs, why build beautiful, massive buildings only to destroy them after a fair? Do modern expos serve the same purpose today? What buildings in your region are claimed to be temporary but feel like, hold on, this looks like some type of ancient shit. Let me show you just a picture of the Chicago World Fair and all that shit for you to see how Chicago looked back then. It's crazy. Yeah, Chicago World Fair 1883, yeah. Okay, can I actually see this properly? I probably can, hold on. Yeah, brilliant, I can see it. Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, hold on. Can you not make it bigger? Okay, brilliant. So this is what I'm talking about here, yeah? Hold on. Why? Why are you doing that for, you twat? So this here, I can't make it no bigger, is Chicago. Is the Chicago work. Chicago used to look like that. That's one picture. I'm going to show you some more. Hold on. You see buildings like this. You see the intricacy of this building. And they're telling you this building was built in the 1700s by people who was in horse and buggy, donkey and cart. Come off it, man. And then a lot of the time, the people that they put into these pictures, because they're photoshopped, yeah, some of these people, yeah, is not even like, their feet's not even on the ground. They're hovering above the ground. A man sitting on the step, he's not even touching the steps. He's hovering above the step when you zoom in. So that's how you can tell, hold on, these are Photoshop. They've put these people into this picture. There was no one there. A lot of these cities, like they're showing you here, is empty. There's no fucker there. Because the population, the original one, has been wiped out. Whether it's with smallpox and these diseases, because they use germ warfare and biological warfare. They don't beat anybody. They use germs, do you understand, to wipe out populations. So they inherited all these empty cities across the Europe, all these empty cities across America. Now they have to refilm them with cabbage patch children. Children that are grown like cabbages in the field, using fucking sinister cloning technology and weird science, yeah? And incubator babies, where they're growing babies in incubators and shit, man. Let me show you. I might as well show you these from my hard drive, because rather than just fucking searching on Google and shit, man. I got this for you guys, don't worry. So that was the Chicago World Fair. They got Boston World Fair, New York, all of these, they're weird. Do you understand? Hold on. Incubator babies. They even made a cartoon about it called the Cabbage Patch Children. I used to watch that shit as a youth, man, before I even knew anything about Tartary. So when I first heard about this shit, I was like, what the fuck? Bro, I used to watch. Yo! So look, here's some of the Cabbage Patch Children, yeah? I mean the incubator babies. You see the baby in the incubator there? Let me swipe. Hold on, is it the other way? Yeah? These are incubator babies. Hold on. Right? Hold on. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. Well, that's an incubator. You see what it says there? Infant incubators. Yeah? Hold on, I've gone the wrong way again. See? These are cloned babies. Hold on. You can't see her face because her face is chopped off the top. Yeah, here we go. I'm just going to have to show you like this. These are clones. Even look at them two nurses. They look evil. Their faces don't... They look evil, man. Look. And there's a doctor who's responsible for this. Don't worry, I've wrote all about it in my book. So I've got all the details here. I'm just giving you from my head top. So that's an incubator station where they're growing these babies, man. Yeah, and they use them to refill America and refill all the empty cities. Yeah, there's even YT people now, YT people, talking about how 85% of YT people are actually fucking Cabbage Patch children. This is not a diss. I'm not trying to get at anybody. Yeah, I'm telling you, YT people are saying this. 85% of them are incubator babies and Cabbage Patch children. Right, hold on. Sound crazy, right? I know it does. Let me get you a better picture. Here I've even got articles, yeah, that I've put in my book that go into this shit. You see? And they grow giants. These incubators, they can grow a man 16 foot. They put the baby in the incubator in 1 year, yeah, it's grown to the size of an 8-year-old. It's got super strength. So here again, they made some of these giants. Some of these giants is manufactured. Believe me, I know it sounds weird because I see the tapping stop. So most of you are just like, what the fuck is this guy? Look, they call it premature babies. Nigga, is incubator babies. Yeah, all these articles, I've got them for you guys, man. It's not a joke thing. Hold on. Yeah, listen to this, yeah? Put the baby in hot water. In this baby incubator, he placed one of the infants in hot water, a miserable specimen of the crying cocklicky kind. The child was provided with a nursing bottle and of course only fed at regular intervals. The child ceased his crying on the second day, much to the doctor's surprise, and never again cried for the space of the 8 weeks that they put it in that incubator. It tenated the incubator. At the end of this period, it had the appearance of a healthy child of 1 year old, yeah? Encouraged by this success, Dr. Tartary, that's his name, that Dr. Tartary dude, repeated the experiment with like results. So they can grow a baby, yeah, at speed. They can increase the speed at which it grows. It's really supposed to say it came out the size of an 8-year-old, because I've got the article from the paper, and in the paper it says 8-year-old, and somebody changed it here to only a 1-year-old. But I got that thing right in my book, so you can see the two, like the name of the paper, the date when it came out, the whole shit. And now you find clips like this online where they've changed the 8-year to only 1 year. You understand what I'm saying? But hold on. Encouraged by this success, Dr. Tartary repeated the experiment with like results. He then, with the permission of the hospital authorities, proceeded to construct an incubator capable of receiving 400 children. Oh, what the fuck, man? Hold on. Yeah, it says here, were it not that the facts are vouched for, yeah, by a commission of 12 doctors who made a report to the government, yeah, the results claimed might be deemed, yo, you're just chatting shit. That's just, it's too far out there. But they had 12 government officials that confirmed this shit and wrote to the government, and that's on record, yeah. The average age of the infants when put in the incubator was 8 months and 3 days, the youngest being 12 hours and the eldest 11 months. The average weight of the 360 infants that they put in there was 10 pounds. At the end of 6 months, the average weight was 84 pounds. And all are said to have looked like children, 10 children, yeah, you see, now it says 8 years old. They went in there for 8 weeks. Yeah, and they went in there, the average age was the youngest being 12 hours and the oldest was 11 months. They spent 8 weeks in these fucking incubators and come out the size of 8-year-olds. Look, let me, so you just don't think I'm gassing. 8 years of ordinary 8-year-old. Do you see that? So they were growing these ninjas and using them to refill the cities that they're colonizing. Yo, we've wiped out New York. Yo, put these fucking incubator babies. So this leads to the orphan trains, because they were putting them on trains, shipping them across seas, and yo, use these 20,000 incubator children, Put them in fucking America, in Boston or Chicago or whatever. Give them a whole new history. Yeah. Now you got education system, public education. Give them a whole new history. Give them a whole new identity. And if you look at these orphan trained babies, yeah, they all look sad. Right? None of them look happy, right? Like they're just blank until you upload them with an operating system and stuff. And this is when public education came out. In the same time, we're talking 1920 is when the Rockefellers bought out public education. So remember 1850, right, to 1920, that's one generation, because the average human lifespan is 70 years. That means you got to wait till 1920, so that generation is gone. Nobody's left who remembers what was before this shit. Now we've got all these blank slate incubator babies and no one who can tell them what was before, so we're going to give them a new history now. Do you see what I'm saying? This can't be no coincidence, man. Yeah, it's too much to be a coincidence. Hold on, I had a better picture of them incubators, man. One with a, if you see this incubator, it's crazy. Hold on, I think I might be in the wrong part. My hard drive's so massive, yeah, that boy, hold on, let me put Cabbage Patch Children, just to show you. And they had these postcards in the 1800s where they was promoting these Cabbage Patch Children, yeah. So there's a bunch of postcards with the same, with this imagery in it. Can't be a hoax. Right. So that's the Cabbage Patch logo for the cartoon, Cabbage Patch Children, yeah? They literally grew the babies like this. I'm going to show you. So here's some of the postcards now from the 1800s. Do you see that? Yeah? And it's not one. There's loads of them. Here it says, who murked Tartaria? These are the people responsible for the erasure of Tartaria. Yeah, King George III of England, Catherine the Great of Russia, all these people were the elites responsible for taking out Tartaria in their own reigns and in their own times and in their own ways. They all contributed to it because they wanted to raise up the British Empire, which is based on the control of you, the control of your energy, the control of all your resources. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hold on. Is that all? I had more than that. Anyway, let me continue reading so I don't break up the flow. Yeah, you guys with me, yeah? I got worse stuff than that, but I can't be asked to just sit down and break up the live. When you get the book, if you do buy my book, Escape from the Chicken Farm, you'll have all of the fucking images in there, right? Yeah, after reading about giants, like I just showed you, these babies being put in incubator and speeded up in growth. After reading about giants and orphan trains, why are there no black children in these orphan train photos? Let's find some of these shits here now, man. Orphan trains, yeah. Let's go on the search engine. Or actually, let me go back to my hard drive, because them ones there got writing on them so we can read what's on there. Hold on. Look. These trains are full of them incubator babies that they're using to repopulate America in the 1800s. Yeah? And now you got YTs talking about 85% of them is fucking Cabbage Patch Children. Right? Look at their faces on these children. They don't even look happy. They look pissed off, like they've just been told that that's their lot. They have to take it. Yeah? Let me read what's on here. Hold on. Orphan protagonists have long bothered me, particularly in 19th century literature. There is such an abundance of them. Yeah, Dorothy Gale was an orphan and she went over the rainbow. Anne was an orphan, or Annie was an orphan, and she managed Green Gables. You know, all these movies that came out in the 1800s. It's always, the children are always orphans. Like you've seen that old movie Annie. So she's in the orphanage and shit with the fucking ginger hair. Annie, my sister used to have it on tape. Annie, it's a movie and shit, and I hated this movie. But now I look back, I'm like, bastard, even Annie was an orphan, right? Even Oliver Twist, all these, they're all orphans, man. They don't have no mum and dad. And they got all these mental asylums going up. You know what that is? People, just like we're remembering Tartary now, people started remembering. Right? So they started slapping them in madhouses. Now they got even more children, not just orphan babies. They got orphans whose mothers and dads is in all of the madhouses that started going up across the 18th and 19th centuries. Does that make sense? Yeah? Annie was an orphan and she managed Green Gables. Then again, Heidi was an orphan in the Alps. Mowgli too, except he was raised by wolves in India. Jane Eyre was an orphan. Oliver Twist and a whole lot of other Charles Dickens characters were orphans. Come to think of it, but now I believe I'm finally onto something. Any investigation into the mud flood theory will inevitably lead to the orphan asylum. How we know why there were so many orphans and foundlings, because the rest of 1812 unalived most of the population, which led to repopulation agenda. I will elaborate in further detail. So these are some of the pictures that are coming from my book. That's why they're on my hard drive. Yeah, hold on. Where's that Cabbage Patch lady? What's her name again? So you see, it's not a picture someone drew. That the woman is in the field with babies in the fucking cabbages. I forgot her name. Hold on. No, but that's not it. But here's a gardener, look. Do you see that, guys? Why are they making all these postcards with Cabbage Patch children on? The niggers watering the cabbage children. They grew them in the field. Some of them they grew in the incubators. Those were used to repopulate cities across the world in the 1800s, as to why you find all these YT people in all these different cities they're not supposed to be in. Right? Let me see if I just put in incubator, if them pictures will come up. That's it. Is this the chicken farm thing? Yeah, so here, look. They growing these ninjas in this chicken setup. Look, that's fucking babies in there being grown, guys. Do you understand? Can I zoom this shit in? Watch when I show you this one. You're gonna fucking see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Incubators. Let me go through it like this. Come on, find me the picture, man. I got an audience. Stop messing about. Him, Dr. Tanya. Look how he's holding these babies like he don't give a shit about them. Why? Because they're fucking clones. Y'all think this is a joke? This shit's some sinister shit, man. Yeah, I never took Tartary serious until one of my friends, who I highly respected, me and him sit down and build about Anunnakis and all type of shit. When he came to me with this puzzled look on his face and said, yo, have you heard about Tartary? I knew, yo, it's time for me to take this shit serious. Because my lieutenant, who helps me with my own reasonings, he's now fucking considering this shit and taking it serious. So if he's taking it, look, my goosebumps are gone up. That's the moment I had. When he came to me, this is about 2019, and he just looked at me like, bro, have you heard about Tartary? And just the look on his face told me, yo, you need to take this shit serious, because if my man's taking it serious, this shit ain't a fucking something you can dismiss no more. Before I used to just dismiss people. Oh, you're just mad, yeah? Oh yeah, flat earth, Tartary, I don't want to look at none of this shit here. I'm writing about Anunnakis and ancient Egypt and all that shit. Niggas be telling me about Cabbage Patch and incubators, and I'm thinking, yo, are these man gone mad? But when my bedroom, who I highly respect for his intelligence, he come to my yard and seek me out and said, bro, have you heard about this Tartary thing? I knew, basket, I might as well look into this thing, you know. I can't just dismiss it no more. And that's when my fucking world changed, guys. Hold on. Here's another depiction of some of them early ink. Look, growing people like it's a chicken farm. And they took this out of the fucking history. So when you talk about, like my man saying here, Living Man Stewart, NPCs, this is them. This is the soulless, the NPCs and shit, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? And like the guy said in the book, how come there's no black babies here? It's just these, man, right? Hold on. There's one here, look. Look what he says. Once seen, never forgotten. It's a fucking spectacle. People are packing up to see these fucking babies in the World Fair. Why? Why are you just going to go to a World Fair and say, oh, look at these babies, and people are buying babies and shit? Why? I can't find that one, man, that fucking... and the one where they're just bare, like they're hatching out of eggs. There's one picture I've got where they're hatching these babies out of the eggs and shit. But maybe I should just open up my book later on my laptop, because the pictures are already in my book. Then I can just turn my laptop around and show you, because trying to find these now is a madness, right? But I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm saying. I'll look through some of your comments in a minute, yeah? After reading about giants and orphan trains, why are there no black children in the orphan train photos? Why were so many children displaced in the same historical window that Tartaria vanished? That's the same time when Tartaria vanished, yeah? Could the giants still be among us, hidden in bloodlines or dimensions, yeah? Or were they made, like we just read, they were making these giants in these weird-ass incubators using hot water and putting fire under there and leaving them in there for 8 weeks and all type of shit like that, yeah? Okay. Timeline, hidden history versus mainstream events. Here's a side-by-side timeline showing you how historical events might look when we view them through the lens of suppression and revelation, yeah? So, mainstream history through a Tartarian lens. 1700s is when they say the Industrial Revolution begins, yeah? And that 1700s is actually Tartaria's golden age, yeah? Cities humming with free energy, domes and advanced transport, yeah? 1812, Napoleon invades Russia, Tartaria, 1812, right? Final battle with the old Tartarian strongholds, entry into Asian energy grid territory, 1816. Go and Google it and you'll see it's called A Year Without a Summer. So for 3 years, starting from 1816, yeah, in summer was snow all across Russia and all across America. Is that natural, or was they using some type of fucking weapon? Yeah, and then 1817, even more snow. There's no summer. All the crops in the field is gone. People are starving. There's no food. Do you understand that? People are eating dead carrion and shit that they're finding on the streets. I'm writing about this right now. Yeah, atmospheric disruption from a global energy war or mud flood trigger event. Yeah. 1851, this is London's Crystal Palaces, yeah, when we weren't even supposed to have industrial level glass, but all these glass buildings with industrial level glass, massive, like big, like football stadium, is going up, and they're talking about, oh, we're just growing crops in there. Were they growing the babies in there? Because greenhouse, yeah, can make shit bigger and grow faster, yeah. And then after about 6 years, they dismantled all the fucking Crystal Palaces. The one in London went up in fire at night time. The one in New York, couple of years after, went up in fire at night time. All these fucking Crystal Palaces has just been burnt out. That can't be no coincidence, right? So 1851, London's Crystal Palace Fair, elite display of inherited Tartarian tech disguised as modern progress, yeah? 1854, orphan trains begin. Mud flood survivors relocated to erase cultural memory, history rewritten, yeah? 1893, Chicago World Fair, a mass public unveiling of Tartarian buildings followed by strategic destruction. Only a few of them they kept, yeah? The most of them they mash it up and told you, oh, we just made it for an exhibition. Shit that makes your building, it makes this shit in the world today look like this world today was bought off Temu. But they only built that shit just to knock it down a couple years after. Come on, man, I'm not buying it, yeah? Early 1900s, rise of fossil fuels, yeah, is the same time free energy was taken out, yeah. The age of control, population and scarcity begins, meaning your modern world begins there, where Tartaria ended in the 1900s, right? Field discovery, let me get to something else that, okay, let me read from here. Global parallels, Tartaria's architectural echoes around the world. One of the most compelling arguments for the existence of Tartaria as a global civilization lies in the architectural and energetic similarities found across distant and seemingly unrelated cultures. Remember I said Tartary became a global culture, yeah? From India's sacred Vedic cities to Chinese pagodas, from the towering ziggurats of Mesoamerica to the intricate geometry of European star fort patterns, emerged that hint at a shared source of knowledge. Were these similarities coincidental, or do they point to a common legacy erased from the official timeline? Ancient Vedic architecture and sacred geometry. In India, ancient Vedic temples such as those found in Tamil Nadu or Odi share mathematical masterpieces built using principles of sacred geometry, sound resonance and cosmic alignment. Have you seen them temples in India? Right? These structures were not simply places of worship. They functioned as energy centers, carefully positioned along ley lines and constructed with materials like copper and granite for optimal vibrational flow, right? And so you see somewhere like the Vatican, the theorists of Tartaria say, when we look at like Buckingham Palace and the Vatican, they weren't built for people to live inside. It was actually a machine. It was part of the Earth's grid. It's a machine. It's a part of how we distribute the free energy around the planet. So that's why, if you consider, they put toilets in the Vatican in like the late 1900s and shit. How come there weren't no toilets in there to begin with? Because it weren't for people to live in. It's the same with Buckingham Palace. They never had no toilets in there until late 1900s. So are you telling me all the kings and queens that lived in there, as they say, they want us to believe, they never used to shit? Was human shit different? They're going to build this great big castle or palace and not even consider that people need to use the bathroom? How many people lived in this great palace? How many there's no bathrooms in there? Did they just shit on the floor? Did they go outside and shit outside? Or did they just not have shit? Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is proof those buildings weren't built for no fucking living quarters. They were used and repurposed after they were founded or found, right? They repurposed them and turned it into a royal palace. They turned that into a church. They turned that into a monastery. They turned that into a mosque. Them shits weren't no mosque or no church or no monastery. Those were part of a machine, an energy grid that used to benefit the whole, all of us. Do you understand? And now for them to have a pope in there keeps us under this spell of the modern world, because we really believe that that Vatican was built for the pope to be in there. We don't understand. They took the machine out because there was a machine in there. Over the Vatican's throne, there's a throne that floats in the air, which was supposed to be the matriarch seat. A woman was supposed to sit on there. They fucking take out the technology, take out that machine with the free energy shit, and now they're telling you, ooh, this is a place where we pray to Jesus, and we'll get out of here, right? Yeah, cosmic alignment. These structures were not simply places of worship. They functioned as energy centers, carefully positioned along ley lines and constructed with materials like copper and granite, which are conductors, yeah, for optimal vibrational flow. Compare these with Tartarian cathedrals, massive stone buildings with domes, spires, bell towers, and etheric antennae. How many of you hear bells in your city now? When's the last time you heard a bell? Bong. Maybe if you're far out in the sticks, in the country or somewhere. But if you live in any of these cities like Leicester, when's the last time you heard a church bell or any of that type of shit? It's like they just have a problem with bells. They just want to get rid of all of them because there's healing in it. You can just stand up near a bell, and if it's big enough and it's made of copper, and bang that shit to the right frequency, and all of a sudden you feel nice. All of your ailments out your body's gone, arthritis gone, rheumatism gone, tumors is gone, yo, brilliant, thanks doc, gone again. Do you understand? Now they want you to take this pill, that pill, this jab, this vax, this, full your shit up. Even when, as soon as you're born, they want to hit you with like 5-6 fucking jabs, like your immune system don't mean shit, right? When my babies were born, I wouldn't allow them to have nothing. I argue with the midwife because she's trying to tell me, oh, you have to. I don't have to do shit. My mum didn't do it. She told me I didn't let them put anything in you lot. When you lot were born, they wanted to give you the booster. Fuck a booster. It's So I told the midwife, yo, oh, this is for jaundice. Fuck jaundice. I'll take my daughter out in the sun on the park, yeah, and then she'll brown up, yeah. Oh, if you don't give her, she's going to be a bit yellow. Have you heard of the sun? Fuck your jab. That's how I had it. They had to replace the midwife. I demanded, yo, you see her? And she was black. I don't care if she's got melanin. I'm like, you see her? Get her out of here. They put in a white woman, and the white woman was blessed. Imagine that, right? Hold on. Both civilizations use symmetry. Our civilization and Tartaria. Both civilizations use symmetry, fractals, and acoustic design to manipulate energy fields. The Indian cultures and Tartaria, yeah, both civilizations use symmetry, fractals, and acoustic design to manipulate energy fields, suggesting a shared or parallel science or harmonics and consciousness. Chinese pagodas and Tartarian energy towers. In Imperial China, you know what a pagoda is, innit? You know them big buildings with like, they got one layer and then they got that like, what do you call them, frills? It looks like a frill, and then they got another level and then another frill and then another level and then another frill. That's called a Chinese pagoda, right? So in Imperial China, pagodas weren't just symbolic monuments, they were part of a Feng Shui energy grid. You know what Feng Shui is, innit? Am I pronouncing it right? Feng Shui, Feng Shui, you know what that is, right? Energy grid designed to bring balance to the surrounding land, built with specific height ratios, layered tiers, and vibrational materials like jade and copper. Pagodas often stood near water bodies and high energy nodes. Tartarian towers, yeah, and spires, frequently capped with copper finials or gold-plated spears, bear a striking resemblance. Could it be that Tartarian antennae were the Western expression of Eastern geomantic engineering? Both aim to harness subtle earth energies for healing, protection, and consciousness elevation. Now let's go over to the Americas. Mesoamerican megastructures and pyramid technology. Across Central and South America, the Mayan and Aztec empires built step pyramids, star-shaped grids, star-shaped city grids, and stone monoliths aligned with solstices and equinoxes. Teotihuacan's Temple of the Sun, for example, aligns with the Pleiades, the constellation of the Pleiades, and was built using mica, a mineral with electromagnetic properties. Tartarian cities, too, show evidence of electromagnetic design, particularly when domes and water channels are involved. Researchers note that many alleged Tartarian sites include underground aquifers, vaulted ceilings, and star-like city layouts, hinting at a shared global science of energy harmonization, star forts, and the planetary grid. Perhaps the most mysterious structures tied to Tartaria are star forts. If you don't know what they are, Google them, yeah? Geometric fortifications found on every continent, often built in perfect ratios using octagons, pentagons, or radiating triangles. Star forts weren't just military strongholds like they're trying to tell you. Their alignment with ley lines and magnetic anomalies suggests they were energy nodes within a forgotten planetary network. From the star forts in Italy and India to the Vauban forts in France, and even those in North Africa, the pattern is too consistent to dismiss. These may have once formed a global web of free energy conductors connecting Tartarian cities in a vast etheric infrastructure. So you see all these pyramids across the world, not just the ones in Egypt, everywhere, whether it's in Bosnia, Romania, the Americas, China, there's pyramids everywhere. That was a free energy system. These, you see like how you have antennas, you have these wires and stuff, and you have like for our communication and our electricity and shit. That was the free energy system, the pyramids. So they used to beam energy up from the capstones or from the top, right? And then connect with other pyramids. So it could shoot energy to that pyramid, and that one shoot it to that one, and that one shoot it to that one. So all across the world, we had a system of free energy. That grid is now old. It don't work no more. It's shifted, right? So in the time of Tartaria, they used the same principle, but they was using star forts. So the star forts is equivalent to these pyramids. All of them pyramids used to be near water, yeah? The Nile had an offshoot that used to run near the pyramids, right in front of the pyramids. So they had access to water. All of the pyramids around the world used to be closer to water, but waterways change and rivers and canals dry up. So now it just looks like they're in the middle of nowhere. But that's not how it was. So when you see the underground bit and they're telling you, oh, this is the king's chamber and this is the queen's chamber, they're chatting shit. These are machines. They're energy conductors. They was never built to be nobody's tomb, for people to be buried in there. Yes, of course, in later times, when later civilizations come and find these things, they want to associate themselves with this thing. So Egyptians never built them pyramids. Because remember, Egyptians is not us. We're Kemetians. Yeah? So the Egyptians they talk about, them light-skinned Arab-looking people, they don't know nothing about them pyramids. They never built them. They were built way before anybody called Egyptians was living in Egypt. Yeah? When them Egyptians came in, it was mostly Greeks and mixed up Arabs. Yeah? They inherited something that was thousands of years old, and they had no understanding of it. So what they do is use it as a tomb. Yeah, I'm going to bury myself near this pyramid, or I'm going to bury myself inside the Ross Clark pyramid. It weren't built for nobody's burial. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why would a pharaoh, yeah, bring eyes to where he's burying himself? He's going to bury himself with all this gold, all these diamonds, all these riches, and he wants everybody to see. He spent 22 years and how much of fucking money to build this great big monument, only for tomb robbers to say, yeah, he's buried in there with like 500 million worth of shit, you know. So when no one's looking, let's just run up in there and steal out all the gold. Make that make sense? Don't it make more sense to just bury yourself somewhere where nobody fucking knows where you are? If you're being buried with all these precious gold and diamonds and shit like that. What's the point in doing it in front of everybody's eyes? Now everybody knows you in there with how much a trillion worth of money, of stuff. That don't make no sense. You understand? But they really want you to believe that. Them Egyptologists, whether they're European or Arab, that's what they're teaching you. They weren't tombs, guys. Those were conductors. Those was part of the machinery of the circuit board Earth. So we had a system of free energy. Tartary inherited that knowledge. So they used the same principles. Yeah? Fucking star forts became the pyramids. Right? Let me go through here now to see, because I know a lot of you have added shit to what I'm saying. So there might be shit, there will be shit that is worth me reading. Marco Andre Not Jung says, all holy books are describing this world based on and in lies. I kind of agree with that, but I wouldn't say the holy books. I would say the mistranslation of these holy books, yeah, instead of saying these holy books, because these holy books in their original form were beneficial to humanity. The beings that got hold of these holy books and started mistranslating them into Greek and fucking Latin and English and adding in stuff that wasn't really in there and changing the meaning to, yeah, that's all based on deception, right? So I can kind of agree with you on that. Yeah, it's not Truth Squad Tom. Didn't loads of people get cursed from stealing the pyramids? The curse came from King Tut, from entering King Tut's tombs. You can't steal a pyramid. You can't take the pyramid up from Egypt and take it nowhere. If you could, all them pyramids would be in Britain right now. If the Englishman could have lifted up that pyramid of Giza and bring that shit over here and put it in London, that shit would have been in London. Just like they picked up the obelisk and all them thing and take one to Washington, put one in London, put one in France. If British people could have stole the pyramids, they would have all been stolen. They would all be in fucking England right now. Maybe a few in France and a few in America. Right? But what happened was when they entered King Tut's tomb, when they found it, there was a warning across the doorway that said, listen, anybody who comes and disturbs the king's rest and you ain't pure, you're going to be cursed. And they thought it was a joke thing. And this goes to a conversation I was having with a sister on Facebook just the other day when she says, I'm into voodoo. And I says to her, I ain't got no problem with voodoo. I says to her, black magic was a magic we used to protect us. You see, as Kemet, Egypt, when we went to war, we had voodoo man on the fucking battlefield, yeah? To put a hex on you motherfuckers. That's how deep this thing was. So it weren't nothing against, voodoo ain't something that was mashing us up. We was using it against the enemy. There's a time and place for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when they talk about, oh, black magic and make you feel like it's something bad, that black magic was your protection. That's why they want you to think that it's bad. Oh, yo, stay away from that black magic, you know, that voodoo, you know. Now you can't defend yourself. Now you can't defend your nation. Now they can run up in your shit and take all your shit. Where before time, what do you think happened in the Haitian Revolution? Them Haitians was using voodoo to fuck up the French. Yeah? And they won. Yeah? They didn't have none of the technology you have now, but they had unity and they had voodoo. Right? And they fucked up General Leclerc and the French, who was under Napoleon. At that time, Napoleon had never lost a war. We gave him his first defeat. We sent Leclerc back to him and said, yo, tell my man, this is Haiti, nigga. This is a free place for any black people. Don't matter if you come from America, if you can escape and reach here, yo, this is your land. Yeah? If you can escape from fucking England or wherever you are and reach here, yo, this is your land. Why do you think they hate Haiti so much? They made it how it is now because they never forgave, man. They never forgave Toussaint Louverture and John Jacques Dessalines for making the first independent black republic for all black people, not just Haitians. And furthermore, there's three Haitis. What you're calling Louisiana in America was part of the Haiti Empire. How about that? Yeah? When the French went there and fucked up Louisiana, right? That whole region in America. They end up selling it to the British, right? But at first it was the French. And they found that we on smoke, we got voodoo. We gonna put a hex on you motherfuckers if you come here and play with us. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with that. That was a form of protection for us. Do you understand? So all of these star forts may once have formed a global web of free energy conductors connecting Tartarian cities in a vast etheric infrastructure, the same way the pyramids did, right? The bigger picture. Whether you look to Angkor in Cambodia, Cusco in Peru, or Kazan in Russia, which is to do with Ivan the Terrible, yeah, the same symbols, structures, and sacred science reappear. This hints at either a single global civilization, brackets Tartaria, or a pre-reset world where knowledge was once shared across oceans, cultures, and continents. Both of them things can be true at the same time, right? Were these civilizations truly separate? No, they weren't. And why I know they weren't is because the YT man teaches that none of these civilizations had contact with each other. None of them had boat technology. They had no... The people in Europe never knew about the people in America. The people in America never knew about the civilizations in Africa. So just because they say that, I'm willing to go the other way. Okay, because he said that, that means all these niggas was connected. Because I don't believe anything my man's saying. Based on John 8:44. If you've never read John 8:44, grab your Bible and read it now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. Were these civilizations truly separate, or were they fragments of the same forgotten world? The architecture may be our last clue. Yeah. Incorporating. Remember, I always say in my studies, you have to prioritize what's called first-hand accounts or first-hand witness accounts. That means all you guys that are sitting down watching me now, I got this hat on. You know how my hair looks, yeah? You know what color my eyes are. You know my phenotype of my face. You know I like to wear my bracelet and copper and shit. So if you write something right now, yeah, 100 or 200 years from now, yeah, and they find what you wrote, they'll say, okay, that's a first-hand account because this person wrote this in the time that Jedefre was alive. So they seen Jedefre, they went on live with him, they interacted with him. They're the best people who can tell you who Jedefre was. Not 500 years from now, somebody writes about me. Well, we heard that he used to like to wear this, or we heard he liked a green cap. They'll change it because they're not around to see that person. They're not a witness. They're not a first-hand account. A first-hand account means that that person was alive at the time that this shit was going on. You understand? So here again, incorporating first-hand accounts from the 19th century, meaning people who was there in the 19th century, not scholars now in 2026, looking back saying, well, in the 19th century, we suppose fuck all of them. You should want to know what the first-hand accounts say about this time or about this people. That's what a first-hand witness account is. That's the biggest receipt in history, right? A first-hand witness account. I say it in Black Europa. I say it in Treasures in the Sun Volume 2, Black Nobility. I say it in my book, Black Byzantium. Y'all have got to start searching for the first-hand witness account. Never mind what your scholars are saying now. They're none the wiser than you are. Go back to the people who was writing about this shit at the time it was happening. Because you can't beat that in history, right? So incorporating first-hand accounts from the 19th century can provide valuable insights into historical events and societal perceptions Below are examples of letters, diary entries, and newspaper excerpts from the 1800s. So all of those are first-hand witness accounts. Diary entries from the 1800s, newspaper excerpts from the 1800s, you understand? And letters people wrote in the 1800s about this, those are first-hand witness account. You put those on the over anything any scholar right now is saying. It don't matter what he's saying. This is what the people of the time said about this shit. Yeah? Okay? And these things discuss unusual weather phenomenon, yeah, architectural observations, and societal reset. So people was talking about it then in the 1800s. Do you understand? Because we found the receipts. Now, the year without a summer, this is a big theme in my book, yeah, because I never knew about this until I decided to write a book about Tartaria. As I told you, I'm not an expert on Tartaria. So I found out about this about 2 years ago. It's called The Year Without a Summer, 1816, yeah? In 1816, known as the Year Without a Summer, global temperatures dropped significantly due to the eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. Now, I've gone into this in my book. It weren't due to no fucking Mount Tambora in Indonesia. Indonesia, Mount Tambora is nowhere near fucking Russia. Do you understand what I'm saying, yeah? But they're trying to tell you that it was this Mount Tambora went up and the volcano went off. And we know volcanoes can change global weather, but this just don't, the math ain't mathing. I'm not going to get into it here because I've wrote extensively about it in my book. So then if I go into it here, you ain't got no reason to buy that book when it comes out. But what I'm telling you is it's got nothing to do with no Mount Tambora. Don't let them fool you, yeah? Anyway, this led to widespread crop failures, which means people starved, right? Throughout summer, yeah? Through the winter, they starved. If you're starving in summer, then you're unaliving in winter. Because summer is better than winter. So if you ain't got no crops or food in summer, bro, half the population's gone because we ain't even got to winter yet. So imagine what that winter was like. Books like Frankenstein and certain stuff like were written in this period. That's when she wrote that book. She was in the Year Without a Summer. Go and Google it for yourself, right? These people like Charles Dickens and stuff, those are first-hand witness account. Oliver Twist, Annie, or those are near enough like a first-hand witness account. People ain't making shit up. They're writing about what's going on, what they've seen. They're putting it into their stories and everything. Do you understand? Anyway, the temperature dropped significantly, yeah, and this led to widespread crop failures and unusual weather patterns. Sarah Snell Bryant of Cummington, Massachusetts, noted in her diary, the weather is backwards, yeah. Similarly, Nicholas Bennett, a member of the Shaker community in New Lebanon, New York, wrote in May 1816, all was froze, yeah, and the hills were barren like winter. This is in summer, right? These entries highlight the profound impact of the climatic anomaly on daily life and agriculture that were happening in 1816. 2. The Great Hailstorm of August 1843. On August the 9th, 1843, a severe hailstorm struck central and eastern England, yeah, causing extensive damage. A chorister from the choir of King's College, Cambridge, recounted, and I quote, "The lightning seemed at every flash to strike and threaten the dear old building." Yeah, this account underscores the intensity of the storm and its effect on both the environment and architectural structures. I shouldn't have finished on The Year Without a Summer yet. Let me say this. So 1817 was worse, and then 1817 was even worse. 1817 was worse, and then 1818 was even worse, and then in 1819 they had some semblance of a summer coming back without the snow and shit. But in them 3 years now, there's ice everywhere. Yeah, it's turned into like there's ice everywhere, and now get past them 3 years, now the sun's come back. Yeah, so now the ice is melting. They got mud underneath that ice. The ice is melting. This is what caused the mud flood. I'm telling you now. Yeah, I've got records, first-hand witness accounts of people telling you, the mud just flooded in their cities and everybody had to abandon their buildings and only live in the top floors. The fucking bottom of the buildings was all buried. Just one time the sludge just came in and started flooding out all these cities. This is after them 3 years that started with The Year Without a Summer. But like I said, when you get my book, because this, no disrespect to this guy, but this, when you get my book, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? That's if you decide to get it. Michael Shiner's diary. What's my battery saying? 50%? Okay, we good. Michael Shiner's diary. Michael Shiner, an African-American laborer at the Washington Navy Yard. So this is a brother, yeah? Maintained a diary documenting various events, yeah? Including unusual weather and celestial phenomena. Regarding the Leonid meteor shower on November the 12th, 1833, he wrote, and I quote, "The meteors fell from the elements. It frightened the people half to death." That's what he says, end of quote. Shiner also noted the solar eclipse of 1831. We just had a solar eclipse yesterday. I came on live early and said, yo, this is a watershed moment. The last time we had all them four things happening in the same time was 1307. We had them Plantagenets going mad. The whole world fucking shifted. The last time we had one of them solar eclipses like we had yesterday with a new moon, planetary alignment, yeah, meteor shower all in 1 year. That was 1307. Go and read about what happened in that year. All the madness that was going on across the world. That's where we're going now. Anyway, yeah, Shiner also noted the eclipse of 1831. This is what he says, yeah? Hold on. And recorded observations about the year without a summer in 1816, yeah? So he's an African American in America. So this year without a summer is affecting Russia, all across the world, even America. They got snow in July, yeah? All the crops are gone. This is what led to the potato famine in Ireland, yeah? Niggas tried to run from Ireland, these whiteys, and go to America and found the same shit going on in America. Yeah, this is what he writes anyway. There were 3 black spots in the sun. Let me say that again. There were 3 black spots in the sun, yeah? The sun became as red as blood. His diary provides a personal perspective on significant events of the era. Right now, John Ruskin's The Storm Cloud of the 19th Century. In 1884, art critic and social thinker John Ruskin delivered lectures compiled in The Storm Cloud of the 19th Century, where he described perceived changes in weather patterns. The storm cloud is a plague cloud of more than tempestuous gloom. It is a wind of darkness. It is a malignant, cruel and treacherous wind. End of quote. Yeah? Ruskin's observations reflect contemporary concerns about environmental changes during the industrial era. Now, like we said at the beginning when we started reading this book, is this natural? Or were they using some type of climate weapon? Was this done by the gatekeepers? Do you understand? That's what we have to get to the bottom of, because knowing history prepares us for the future. The greatest indicator of what's about to happen to us is learning from the fucking past. That's why don't nobody know no history no more. History is boring. They made it boring for you because they put you on the board of education. In school, the people who control education is called what? The board of education. Do you think they're talking about a piece of board? They're trying to make you bored with education. So you are none the wiser about this shit we're talking about now. That's why most people find education boring. As soon as you finish school, you don't even want to learn no more. You stop learning. The only thing you hold is what they taught you in school. From the time you come out of school, most people don't even learn no more. They're running off the programs that they learned in school. Right? I'm not one of them people. Right? I hope you're not. These first-hand accounts, as you can see why first-hand accounts is so valuable, offer valuable insights into the experiences and perceptions of individuals during the 19th century, highlighting their observations of unusual weather events and their impacts on society and the environment. So is this Tartary thing, if you've never heard about Tartary before, is this now making sense to you like, bastard, this is definitely not some type of conspiracy, right? Or if you did know about Tartary before, I hope this has helped you to know more now. Like this is now it's solidified what you already knew about Tartary. Like, bastard, this is deeper than I thought. I hope so. Yeah, I hope I'm not doing this for nothing. Let me go on it anyway, because I still got battery, yeah? And there's still 117 of you here. So I must be hitting some type of nerve with you guys, yeah? Expert voices and contrarian views. A balanced examination of Tartaria. The narrative of Tartaria has sparked diverse opinions among scholars, architects, engineers and researchers, not just us here on TikTok or ground level or Facebook. Nigga, scholars, architects, engineers and researchers are debating this shit now. right? And you got people who are for it and people who are against it. But their debate, the fact that it's being debated by these type of minds, scholars, architects, engineers and researchers, that's enough in itself, right? While some propose the existence of a forgotten advanced civilization, others attribute the architectural marvels and historical anomalies to more conventional explanations. Yeah, as they would. We expect them to, right? This chapter presents a spectrum of viewpoints to encourage readers to critically assess the evidence and form their own conclusions. I'm glad he's did this, because when we're doing investigations like this, we can't just look at the fours. We have to look at the people who don't believe in Tartaria too, and see what they say and weigh the shit up. You can't just look at biasly at the stuff you want to look at. You also have to look at the shit that you don't want to look at, yeah, to have a balanced view of what this thing is. And that's how I write my books, right? I'm going to always show you both sides of the argument. Don't just base on one side of the argument. Don't do that. Go into both, and now you can have a balanced view. So let's dance, yeah? The narrative of Tartaria, oh, I've read that already. Perspective supporting the Tartaria hypotheses. To me, it's not a hypothesis, but anyway, let's go with the word hypotheses. Dr. Alexander Petrov, a historian specializing in Eurasian studies, suggests that the vastness of the Eurasian steppes, yeah, which is the Caucasus Mountains, yeah, it's called the Eurasian steppe, yeah, and the limited exploration of certain regions leave room for the possibility of undocumented civilizations, right? The sheer expanse of Central Asia, coupled with the scarcity of comprehensive archaeological surveys in some areas, means we cannot entirely dismiss the potential for lost civilizations awaiting discovery. I'm definitely going to read from my book later now, because my book, he's touching on things where in my book I go deep into it, but it's not on my brain. I can't just talk about it without it being on the screen, because like I said, I'm not an expert on Tartaria, so it's not something that I can just do like with the Anunnaki discussion or Bible or God and all that. This is something where I very much have to read it off the page because it's fresh, yeah? But my shit goes even deeper than this. I'm talking about receipts where they found buildings where the experts are saying, yo, they were growing buildings, their buildings are grown. And the experts are saying we have to get rid of this technology or else we won't have a building industry. Them niggas was using alchemy to grow buildings. Do you understand that shit? Listen, man. Yeah. Elena Sokolova, an independent researcher focusing on architectural history, points to the uniformity and sophistication of certain architectural structures found across continents. When we observe similar architectural motifs and construction techniques in disparate regions, meaning unconnected regions, during periods when cross-cultural exchange was ostensibly limited, it prompts us to question the established historical narratives, like the math ain't mathing, is what she's saying. Now, this is the other side of the argument. People who are skeptical about Tartaria, experts that are skeptical, they don't believe in the shit, yeah? Conversely, many scholars and professionals challenge the Tartaria theory, yeah? Emphasizing the importance of evidence-based history, right? Professor James Rutherford, an architectural historian at the University of Oxford, argues that the architectural similarities can be explained through well-documented cultural diffusion and parallel development. He says, and I quote, "The recurrence of architectural styles across different regions is a testament to human ingenuity, yeah, and the natural evolution of design principles." It sounds silly already, yeah, rather than evidence of the suppressed global empire. I'm sure he's got his head up his ass. I should have read it like that. The recurrence of architectural styles across I bet he's one of them dudes there, yeah? Different regions is a testament to human ingenuity and the natural evolution of design. He's one of them dudes there, but that's what he says anyway. So he says he can explain that away with just cultural diffusion, yeah, and the natural evolution of design and the human ingenuity. That's what he explains it all with, yeah. Dr. Maria Gonzalez, a geologist with expertise in geomorphology, addresses the so-called mudflood phenomena cited by Tartarian proponents, and she says, sediment disposition burying structures is a common geological process resulting from natural events like floods, landslides and volcanic activity. These occurrences are well understood within the scientific community and do not necessitate alternative historical explanations, yeah? I bet she's one of them big nose woman, yeah? Because she sounds daft too, but we got to read both sides, right? Bridging the divide, interdisciplinary insights, yeah? Some experts advocate for an interdisciplinary approach, meaning get people from different fields, like get some geologists, get some archaeologists, get some mathematicians, get some historians, and now let's work together to come up with a conclusion. Do you understand? That's what they're talking about, right? While adhering to rigorous academic standards, yeah? So it's not just haphazard, yeah? Dr. Samuel Thompson, an anthropologist, emphasizes the importance of open-minded inquiry, yeah? He says, while it's crucial to approach historical narratives critically, we should also remain open to revisiting and revising our understanding in light of new evidence. He ain't wrong. Ensuring that our interpretations evolve alongside our discoveries. Right. Encouraging critical thinking. The discourse surrounding Tartaria underscores the dynamic nature of historical interpretation. By considering a range of expert opinions, readers are invited to engage in critical analysis, assess the validity of various claims, and explore the evidence supporting different perspectives. I believe at this point we should get into some more pictures, especially about Tartarian architecture and Antiquitech, so you guys can be familiar with some of the shit that goes on with this Tartaria stuff. And also I'll have a look at a few more of your contributions in the comments. Hold on. Yeah, Antiquitech. Have I even got Antiquitech pictures on there? Because they're on my laptop. Antiquitech. Let me see. Oh, I have. So you see this? That just looks like a building. That's not a building. That's part of the circuit board earth. This is what I'm talking about. These buildings weren't built for people to live in there. So let me read this. Sophisticated technological buildings, the further you go back in history, the more advanced we are. And that's why the film is called Back to the Future. Because as you go back, you're actually going forward. So that there, I don't know what building it is, but as you can see, it looks like a computer chip or part of a circuit board. Do you understand what I'm saying? But they're telling us it's just a palace where someone lives and shit like that. Hold on. So this is what I'm talking about. See, at the bottom is the Egyptians with a light bulb, yeah, put on a jed pillar. And then you see in the modern world now how we have on them lampposts, all of them kind of stuff there that give us like energy and telephones and shit there. And then this black and white picture here, that's Tartaria. And you can see circled is the spire. So the spire, yeah, they removed all the spires now off the buildings, yeah. But them spires were still firing up. The ones that they left, sometimes they fire up and shit with what's called piezoelectricity and static electricity and shit. But again, at the bottom you see the Egyptians with their light bulb, and certain scholars want to tell you it's not a light bulb. It's like if you tell them 1 and 1 is 2, they say no, 1 and 1 is 4. And you say no, 1 and 1 is 2. No, 1 and 1 is 4. Yo, it's a light bulb. No, it's just a piece of bread. Or whatever they say. Yo, it's bread. It's bread. It's not a light bulb. That's the world we live in now, yeah? Tartaria's Antiquitech. So you see under the dome there how the buildings are drawing energy from the ether. So that was done, yes. And Tesla coils is a kind of mimicry of the Antiquitech, as Missy has said here in the comments. And I want you to make note, your hair as black people is Tesla coils, right? Your hair draws energy from the ether, right? Your hair is Tesla coils. But anyway, let me go forward. So this is the festive hall with central cascade fountain in operation at the St. Louis World Fair. So they telling you they built this just to show you at a fair and then mash it up like a couple days later. That look better than your buildings today. And they telling you, oh yeah, we just put it in the St. Louis Fair just to show off, and then we mashed it up like 2 months after or whatever. Get out of here. You understand? Yeah, guys, follow each other in the comments, man. Build up a network. You understand? You can even send each other gifts and stuff, you know. Say hello to each other and shit, man. Even chat each other up. You understand? Do it. Yeah, we gonna need each other. We all we got right now. If you're a single man and you see women in here that's about this fucking, I'll be like, yo, what's your name? Yeah, do the shit, man. Like, say hello to each other. The town hall of Lavoon, Belgium, this was built in 1448 to 1469. Look at the detail on this, guys. Look at the detail on it. I'm sorry that it's a bit blurry. Yeah, it should be a bit better when I post clips. But look. The fuck? We don't have that type of shit going on now. The shit they build now, they'll build it in 4 days. It's done. It just looks like a fucking matchbox with a window in there. Look how the stuff used to look. So you see here, they took the spires off. So you see the White House used to have spires. Where you see them circles, they had Antiquitech on there. And they took it off. Right? Here again, this is a bit blurry, but you should still be able to see where they've circled in the red. That's where the spires were. Right, the technology. And that car there was a car that Nikola Tesla invented that uses water, and the companies at the time says no, we don't want that. We can't monetize water, we want oil, petrol. What are you doing building a car made out of oil? Don't you want to make any money, Mr. Tesla? No, I want to give this to the world for free. Yo, this guy's a problem. We need to get rid of him, you know. He's trying to stop our money, this Tesla dude. We need to get rid of his fucking memory, never mind him. Nobody ever needs to hear about this guy. We're going to teach him about Edison, yeah? We ain't teaching. Oi! So look at this beauty again, look. This was in Tampa, Florida. So those that look like minarets for the mosque, those are what you call spires. That building was drawing its energy straight out the Rosklar air. It don't need no energy bill. It don't need British gas or N-Power. None of that shit. You understand? We had free energy technology. Listen, I've got, you say there was a hotel in New York. This is Bootsy. Fireplace in every room, no chimneys, steel plates in fireplaces. If I show you New York, yeah, that in my book, you'll be like, yo, that's the most beautiful crystal palace you ever seen. Do you know how old New York is? They used to have, like, the way New York was set up, yeah, literally they had roads in the air and shit. Like connecting buildings, so they had all these walkways way up there in the air. Yo, this shit, well, it looked like the future, and we're talking 300-400 years ago, right? And so also, you know where the Statue of Liberty is, where they put it, that was a star fort. If you look at the base where the Statue of Liberty is like, hold on, this is a fucking star fort they put this statue on. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also the lighthouses. Let me just keep going to show you guys anyway, because I'm sure you can see now. So you see here, another part of Antiquitech. They take these down because they want to control energy. Whoever controls your energy controls you. And the choices you make, because you're going to have to go to work every day and be a slave in a system just to keep yourself warm and cook your food. Yeah? And then there's going to be corporations who control the energy, like Shell Oil. Yeah? What is it? Mobile One. Yeah, all of these companies are making multi-trillions of dollars controlling your energy. This energy is for all of us. They don't have a right to control, to monopolize energy and shit, Dan. That's why they don't want you talking about this. If you start talking about this, yo, I bet you I get smoke just for giving you guys this life. Yeah, and so even now, in modern terms, they still use this shit when they have to. So when you see buildings like this is Tartarian technology. Yeah, and that's North Korea. The public not allowed access. This is why you're not allowed in North Korea ancient technology buildings. Them shits is ancient, they're not new. Do you understand what I'm saying? So look at all the different places this shit is popping up. How can this be a coincidence? How can everyone have fucking traces of this technology in there? Come on, we've been conned, right? Here again. So these old buildings, look how intricate they look. How come we don't see no buildings like this going up now? Is this building technology been lost? Our governments can't, even if they wanted to, build this type of shit. They can't. It's a lost technology. You understand? When they wiped the shit out, they lost it for themselves too. Right? Look. Some of these pictures I can't even explain other than, yo, it's Tartarian technology. I can't tell you where that is or why it's indoors. I can't tell you, but all I can tell you is this shit is not mathing. The math ain't mathing. All the shit that they told us It's crazy, and you're right. Our world right now is horrible. Sometimes, why do you think I watch so much medieval shit and stuff? It's because when I look at the world now, I'm depressed. I'm like, yo, you mean to tell me this is what the world ended? Look, we could have made this world anything. Look how ancient Kemet looked and shit, man. Even now in ruins, yeah? So put in your mind's eye, put back the colouring shit in there as to how it was when it was brand new. Do you know how beautiful that shit looks? The pyramids with the white marble on them and the gold capstone. And now look around your city now, like, what the fuck? This shit ugly as hell. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Even here, I can't tell you what these are. But this is the problem. What is this? What type of technology is this? And what type of mind built this shit? Like, what's it for? You understand what I'm saying? Crazy. Yeah. Here again, this is in Russia. They keep a lot of their Tartarian shit in Russia. Putin don't play. He'll fucking tell you about Tartaria. He'll open maps up, show you shit. He'll even show you Black Jesus. He don't care. Why do you think they got a problem with him? You understand? But though in Russia, they've still got a lot of those spires. I've got a video where one of these spires starts going off. Yeah? You see, and it's got fucking static electric around it. They still work. That's why they have to remove them. Yo, what's that spire? Yo, take that down. You understand? Take that down. So look, let me enlarge this. So you can see antenna, mercury coil. What's that? Harmonizer, right? Frequency, yeah. Energy storage. So you see, this is proven. It's not a conspiracy theory. They took that shit away from us, so we don't have a chance to live no more. This ain't life that we live in now, 2026. Look around you. Think about how your life is, how hard you have to go for bare minimum. You really think this is what God planned for us? This modern world that we're living in now. Racism, sexism, war, Trump. I had to throw Trump in there, yeah? You really think this is normal? Hold on. Oh, you couldn't. Hold on. I didn't want to come out of the thing. I just wanted to look at this, man. Even if it is a church, because there's a cross on top of it, even if it was originally a church, look how beautiful the thing is compared to what we see now. You're right, Wayne Brown. We live in a prison. This world is a prison world. You understand what I'm saying? Yo. And then look at, this is an old picture of the pyramids. This is in my book 4, What Side of History. Look on the top of the pyramids though. And the pyramids is in water. Fuck off. Yeah, so it says here, very rare, pre-1851. You see the date again, 1850, 1851. Very rare, pre-1851 engraving of the 2 pyramids with colossal figures atop each. Accounted by Herodotus. Herodotus talked about these things on top of the pyramid as being located in the center of Lake Maurice. That's dried up now. Egypt, 490 BC. That's what that matches with what Herodotus wrote. But today we don't see none of that shit there. On the top of the pyramid, even the capstone's gone. They whacked that off, bruv. Why? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's going to expose. Hold on, we're living in some fake shit. See? So they use gold or copper because it's a conductor. You see the mercury amalgam, right? You see the antennas, resonators, conductors. Come on, guys. Capacitors, copper coils under arches and columns, fractal design. Yo, man, it's all there. So what more proof do you need? Do you still think Tartary is just a conspiracy theory based on what I've shared with you so far? Later on, if you come back, I'll open up my book, and what I read from my book will blow your fucking mind, because I'll give you the history behind it. You understand what I'm saying? Because you know I'm a historian, so I'll give you the history behind it, going into the Rurik dynasty of black Vikings who went to Russia, and Russia's named after them. Yeah? Have you ever heard of Novgorod? All that shit, I'll give you that. Right? Oh, God. Hold on. I think that's that with that. Let me go forward. No, let me look at some of your comments first, because you guys have been saying some real shit. Shout out to everybody in the comments, man. Yeah, you get that static electric shock. I get that off the fridge. Ras Kennel says, when I open my car door, sometimes I get an electric shock. I get it off the fridge. I touch the fridge handle. It's like, bzzz, it's like, yo, Dan. You understand that static electric thing? And also Tartaria, they had a map that don't start from the birth of, not a map, a calendar. Their calendar started from the beginning of the world. You see how they changed the calendars to the like Julian, and then changed the Julian to the fucking Gregorian, and added days and take days away and all that shit. And all of them start from, yo, the birth of Jesus. Jesus wasn't at the beginning of the world. Well, they moved all the calendars, erased all the calendars that start at the real beginning of the world, and replaced them with these Christian calendars. The birth of Jesus, yeah, 0, and here you have BC, and here you have 1 AD. 1 BC, 1 AD. So they start bang in the middle, yeah, ancient time, modern time, and they have the key. They're the ones who tell you this was 4000 BC. How do you know it wasn't 40,000 BC? Like I said, I don't trust anything they say. Yeah, so any date they give me, my teacher taught me to add a 0 on there. So if they say Egypt was started in 3100 BC, okay, 31,000 BC, cheers, mate. Like, that's how you have to look at this shit. Because they trying to bring it more up close. Remember, they only been here 6,000 years. Those are a new, hybridized, and as we've seen now, yeah, the bulk of them ain't even been here they only been here since the 1800s, because they made them niggers in an incubator, and they fucking planted them in the ground like cabbages and picked them out the ground, and also they had them hatching out an egg. And I know this sounds crazy, but later on I'll give you from my book, so I can give you the fucking receipts behind what I'm saying. Here I'm just going off my head, because like I said, it's not in my head like these other topics. This shit's fresh for me. I've only been in Tartary about 6 years, so that to me is fresh. That means me and you are kind of the same. I'm just using my skill as a researcher and somebody who already deals with history and writes books to present it to you. But I'm no better than you. I'm no further than you, really, other than what I'm presenting to you here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hold on. Did I go through all of them? I think I did go through all of them. So yeah, let me read some more of your comments. Missy says, we live in a hell, a prison in chains and program. Exactly, this is a prison planet. So we have to increase our vibration and vibrate much higher than how we vibrate in society now. Because this vibration that we're on, we're going to stay trapped here. We have to find out how do we increase our vibration so we can kind of just lift ourselves out of this hell, man. Because everything they say about hell, we're already in hell. There ain't no hell after. This is hell. We're in hell on earth. Yeah? We got poverty, we got war, we got people who are still starving, people who still got no drinking water. There should be nobody in the world in 2026 who don't have access to clean drinking water, or who don't have access to proper healthcare, or who don't have... You understand what I'm saying? While you got man like Elon Musk boasting about he's now richer than Mansa Musa. He's worth this 500. Why? Look at the state of him. You understand what I'm saying? Yep, Tigo says it's the modern slave system that is masquerading as capitalistic democracy. I think capitalistic democracy is slavery. It's just a nice way of saying it. Oh yeah, capitalism. Yeah, okay, slavery. Slavery never ended. They just said, yo, this slavery thing's so lucrative, yeah? We make them slaves do all the work, and all we have to do is give them a little food. Okay, so let's spread this out now. Everybody's going to be in slavery, even white people. And we're just going to call it democracy. You go to work for how much hours a day? 8 hours, and here's your food, mate. Here's your little paycheck. That's slavery, bruv. That's no different. So everybody's in slavery. They even got greedy, saying, yo, women, stay at home. Now, fuck that, let's put them in slavery too. Okay, women, you can have a career too. You don't have to stay home. Gender roles is bullshit. Now even the women is slaves. Yo, work for your boss. I won't listen to my husband, but yeah, boss, what do you want? Because the boss, you understand? Everybody's in fucking slavery. This world is a slave world. And they've mashed up the dynamics between men and women. So now we're all just stuck. We don't even know how to interact no more. Men don't know how to be men. Women don't know how to be women. We're something else. The men are some type of fucking hybrid, and the women are some type of fucking hybrid. And we're just looking at each other like this. Don't nobody know how to make this shit work no more. It's crazy out here. So it's the modern slave system, yes. But the masquerading, I think I don't even think it needs to masquerade. I think capitalism is slavery. I think it's financial slavery, wage slavery, debt slavery. And that's how your modern world works. We're all in fucking slavery. Some of us are living from paycheck to paycheck. You understand? Look, they charging us for water. Missy says water was free, land was free, food from Mother Nature. Now the corrotation took over. Yeah? Well, I get what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't be paying for water. They putting water in bottles and charging you for water. Yeah? They're going to soon charge you for air. They'll soon start charging you for time. Like that movie with Justin Trouser Snake in there, where it's called Time. And they have to, yo, everybody's got time on their wrist. If your time run out, yo, you unalived. Till his mum was trying to run to him so she can top up her time, yeah? And she just, just before she reach him, she just drop her grung. She time run out, yeah? Soon they're going to start charging you for air. Yo, have you paid for your air that you breathe in? You're in debt, you know. £400, you ain't paid for your air. Turn his air off. Lock it off. Yeah, they're going to start doing that soon, right? They already charge us for air anyway in the form of radio. Yo, airwaves. You want to be in the airwaves, you got to pay this to have this radio fee, this fucking license fee, whatever. Yeah? Yeah, Natasha says they replace intricate architecture for brutalist architecture. This shit's so ugly, yeah? I often walk around just looking at shit disgusted like... I swear down. Look at Babylon with the blue gates of Ishtar and the blue gates of Babylon and the walls around the city. You come to a city, even like Troy, when you think of Troy on that high rising and how beautiful it was, you go there, you're already happy like, yo! Yeah? Imagine how nice Karnak looked in certain places, yeah, in America, the Mayans, Teotihuacan, yeah? And look now when you go to London, it is the most miserable place, or one of them, on earth. I can't even exist in London. When I go to London, I put my stopwatch on, yeah, I got an hour. And before that hour's done, I'm ready to get out of there. I'm like, yo, I've had enough. Let me go back to my Leicester, yeah, which is fucking greenery, parks, yeah. Everybody takes their time. In London, yeah, and the cost is up there. Yo, I want a burger, £10. Like, huh? £10 for a burger, £10. Like, bastard, I can't deal with London, man. Oyster card, yeah, nah, none of that. The smell, I can't do it, yeah. My family like to laugh at me because of that. Oh yeah, we know you don't like. Nah, I hate London, right? With a passion. Put a capital H in that hate. I hate London, right? Can't get me to live there in that dump. And no disrespect to Londoners, but I'm not from London, so when I come there, to me it's a dump. I don't want to live there. That bog that's over London, that grey cloud that's just eternally there, yeah? I don't like it, right? And also there's so much blood on the hands of London for what it did through colonialism and royal family. I don't want no parts of London, me. Inhale, exhale, Joe 90 says harmonic balancing, quietly or choir B. I know that in Tartaria, how the buildings and everything was vibrating, the ambient background is set at 432 hertz, which is the love vibration. It's the natural vibration of this earth. We're not in that vibration right now. None of our cities in our world are vibrating with that ambient background. That's why shit can last so long, like it can stand for eternity, because they don't build to destroy the earth. When the ancestors were building buildings and shit, and people in Tartaria, it's to complement the earth. It's like a part of the earth. It fits into the earth's own biosphere. It don't go against it. But now, because our polarity is all fucked up, all of this shit's going against Mother Earth. It hurts her. She don't want it. She don't like it. Do you understand? It's like, yo, they're tying her up in chains, and yo, that's how the earth feels like. It's in a straitjacket. It's trying to break out. You understand? So harmonic balancing. Shout out to Inhale, Exhale, Joe 90 for putting that in there. And yeah, Missy, either. The either, yeah? According to Western science, that's the only thing they're certain about. Nothing else in science is certain other than the either. The existence of the either and all of us are living inside of this ether. It says, picture it as the sea of consciousness, like just like the sea or the ocean, and we're the fishes and the whales and the coral reef. We're all inside this sea. So the sea is the ether, yeah, and we're all inside of this thing called the ether, yeah. And nothing, we can't even have movement without the ether. If there was no ether, everything would just be stuck. There would be no movement or nothing. Everything would just be stuck. So I can't remember which scientist said it. Was it Einstein or was it Newton? One of them. He says the only thing I'm certain about is the ether. Everything else is guesswork. Oh, what? Yo. I remember we're 9 ether beings. We're the highest form of ether beings on the planet. Me and you, melanated people. Right? Even him, let me read this here, because he goes into the Moors, something about Negro land. I seen it while I was flicking through here. Yes, because look, it starts going into it now, the connection with the Moors, or maybe I should leave this for another time. Let me just touch it anyway. So he's saying they did have black orphans and black orphan trains, but it was a separate thing. Yeah? So I'm just going to touch this first part about Negro land, and then I'll leave this for the other part for another time. Hold on. Yeah, so here's more of them Cabbage Patch kind of images, even though these are dolls she's posing with. This is some sinister shit. Like, why would you do that? What's it for? You understand what I'm saying? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to prove? Yeah, and so these incubator babies, Coney Island, yeah, so now this is what they're giving us. Oh, women don't have to have babies no more. We're going to have these artificial wombs. Isn't that the same type of incubator baby shit? You understand what I'm saying? The same fucking principle. Hold on. Look at these fucking orphans, man. Look how much of them. Look. You see, this is some sinister shit. Where's that Negro land thing, man? What I see? Hold on. Yeah. Even Hollywood. A lot of the Hollywood stores, like it's saying here, Hollywood and the orphan influence, come out of fucking Cabbage Patch children, you know. Because they can control them. So a lot of your stars, they are Cabbage Patch babies and incubator babies and shit. Yeah? Manufacturing a dream world. Let me just find this thing. Look, the systematic destruction of black kingdoms and advanced civilizations. Wow, I can't wait to reach this part here. Because I ain't read this book, you know. Me reading it now, this is the first time I'm reading it with you guys. I probably read like 4 or 5 pages and just dashed it on the side because I had other books. So this had to wait. So today I was like, yo, what can I read? I don't want to go into no Anunnakis or none of that type of shit today. And so when I was looking through my books, it's like, yo, I'm going into this. You understand? So look, this is what I'm saying. It starts going into Negro land and shit. And how, because Negro land's in West Africa, but he starts saying it was also in America. It weren't just West Africa. Yeah, it was also reference to America and the Moors being in America. I want to get to that page. Hold on. Yeah, look. What was Negro land? So I'm going to read this and we'll end on this and then I'll look through some more comments, yeah? But we'll end the reading part of this live on this. So it says, this is page 133 out of 433, yeah, pages. So it says, what was Negro land on historical maps? Hold on. Negro land appears in 17th and 18th century European maps of Africa, referring to a region of West Africa. It's really Judah. It was called Judah, and they changed the name to Negro land, and then they just got rid of it after 1850 and just call it West Africa. But anyway, region of West Africa that included kingdoms like Benin, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, and Burkina Faso, by the way. Yeah, this region was a major center of trade, wealth, and learning before colonial powers redrew African borders, and Benin was one of the most magnificent kingdoms of its time. The Great Wall of Benin was longer and bigger than the Great Wall of China. It's gone now. Then British fucked all that shit up and teethed off all the things. Yeah, but anyway, this region was a major centre of trade, wealth and learning before colonial powers redrew African borders. European explorers, particularly those involved in transatlantic slavery, referred to the region as Negro Land because it was home to several powerful black kingdoms. Example, map of Negro Land. Emmanuel Bowen's 1747 map of Negro Land in Guinea clearly labels Negro Land in West Africa. John Kerry's 1805 map of Africa also references Negro Land near the Gold Coast and Slave Coast. But does the term Negro Land ever appear on maps in America? 2. Was Negro Land in the Americas? While most mainstream maps place Negro Land in West Africa, some researchers argue that early maps suggest black civilizations existed in the Americas. You see the sun still coming in now, trying to mash man up. This sun ain't normal in England right now, I'm telling you. This is some type of machine they got out there. Look, I'm putting my blinds down like some type of Mzungu hiding from the sun. No disrespect, right? Hold on. Yeah, while most mainstream maps place Negro Land in West Africa, some researchers argue that early maps suggest black civilizations existed in the Americas prior to European colonization. Clues that suggest Negro Land may have also referenced the Americas. So he's not saying, oh, it's not in Africa, it's in America. He's saying it's not just in Africa, it's also in America. There's places in America that was also referred to as Negro Land based on the Moors that was there before European colonization. Does that make sense? Clues that suggest Negro Land may have also referenced the Americas. The presence of Moors in early American accounts. Several early European explorers reported encountering dark-skinned, woolly-haired, and this word is the key, indigenous people. Not people who had just come over there from Africa and none of that shit. They're indigenous to that fucking land. Yeah? So, dark-skinned, woolly-haired, indigenous people in the Americas. Sir Francis Drake, who is another nasty piece of work, if you know anything about your history, and early Spanish records describe Native American tribes with features resembling those of Africans or Moors. Old maps referencing black populations in the Americas, some pre-1700s maps, include terms like Ethiopian Ocean instead of the Atlantic Ocean. It was called the Ethiopian Ocean. There was a link between Africa and America before that cult that is raised up in America now called FBA started chatting shit. Right? In parts of the Caribbean, or land of the Black Moors, in parts of the Caribbean and South America also. Yeah, a 1562 map by Diego Gutierrez labels a portion of South American as Regio Ethiopium, or the region of the Ethiopians. Yeah, 16th and 17th century Jesuit missionary writings mention groups of black-skinned peoples living in Florida, Louisiana, remember what I said about Louisiana being Haiti, and the Mississippi Valley before European colonization, so places like Cahokia, right? Could Negro Land have been a term that originally described both parts of Africa and regions of the Americas, because they linked, that had large black populations, right? 3. Ethiopia in the Americas, a forgotten connection. Ethiopia is one of the oldest names used for lands inhabited by dark-skinned peoples. In ancient times, it did not just refer to modern-day Ethiopia, but was used by the Greeks, Romans and Arabs to describe all black civilizations across Africa and beyond. Yeah? There are historical references to Ethiopia in the Americas, particularly in South America and the Caribbean. Yeah? Some early European maps label portions of Brazil, Venezuela and the Caribbean as Ethiopia. The Ethiopian Ocean, many pre-18th century maps label the South Atlantic as the Ethiopian Ocean, showing a link between Africa and the Americas. So here he's got these maps showing the Ethiopian Ocean and shit. So y'all can't argue. A lot of you like to argue without no receipts, and you're just out here capping. We are about these receipts and these first-hand witness accounts, yeah, that only a fool will argue with, right? The colours represent the connected nations, right? So if you look closely, you can see all the connected nations. Basket. click here to purchase the high quality map. So if you go on that tartariaempire.com, you'll probably be able to download this or sorry, purchase yourself a couple of these maps. I'm going to try and purchase it because you see here it says Ocean Ethiopicus or whatever the fuck it says in Latin. Yeah, you see? The Ethiopian Ocean, nigga. Talking about Atlantic. Fucking Atlantic. Yeah? And so here he's got like pieces of the map zoomed in. So you can go and see on them, yeah? I'm not going to go too far into that type of shit. Example maps mentioning Ethiopia. A 1625 world map labels the South Atlantic Ocean as the Mare Ethiopicum, Ethiopian Ocean, yeah? A 1748 French map by John Baptiste Nolan places Ethiopia near Brazil and the Caribbean. Could Ethiopia have been an ancient name for regions in the Americas that housed large black populations before European colonization? And then next is, how does this relate to Tartary reset and orphan trains? If black civilizations were present in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans, and if names like Negroland and Ethiopia were erased from maps, then the question arises, what happened to these original populations? Those were the ones who were put in slavery. We were told we all came from Africa, right? That's what they fucking did, yeah? Connection to the reset and population replacement. Step 1, depopulation of the Americas, 1600s to the 1800s. So after they've depopulated now they can start putting in these Cabbage Patch Babies and these yo, send 10,000 of them across. We need to fill back up Chicago. We need to fill back up New York. We need to fill back up Louisiana. This is what they were doing, right? So the mud flood theory suggests that a major cataclysmic event, either natural or engineered in brackets, wiped out large civilizations around the world. So I believe this mud flood, they deliberately did it. That's how they wiped us out. I bet many of us are buried under the fucking mud with the buildings and stuff. What are you talking about? Yeah. Step 2, orphan trains, a population replacement program, 1854 till 1929. Between 1854 and 1929, over 250,000 children were relocated across the US via orphan trains, right? These orphans were mostly European children. They were Cabbage Patch incubator fucking clone children, yeah? Which may have been an intentional effort, not may, which was an intentional effort, sorry, I'm changing the shit, yeah? To repopulate areas where the original black, indigenous, Indian, Caribbean populations had been removed, right? Step 3, the systematic erasure of black indigenous identity. All you niggas came from Africa and that's that, yeah? The original black indigenous people may have been forcibly reclassified as Negro or freedmen. Many black native tribes were denied federal recognition and had their land taken away. The Dawes rolls, I know you know about the Dawes laws and shit, 1898 to 1914, forced indigenous people, Indians, indigo people, to register as Indian, as either Indian or Negro, stripping away. I should say not black. I should say Moorish indigenous heritage. But now they're telling, okay, you're Indian, you're a Negro, you're a black man, you are African American, you are not a Moor. That's what they did to us. You understand? They reclassified us under the Dawes Act. Yeah. Where can you find evidence of these maps? So he's got all his evidence here where you can go and find. So I'm not going to read through that shit there. I'd rather read through you guys' comments, yeah? Because I think I did enough in this live until later on I come back with my book, Escape from the Chicken Farm. But let me see what I'll go on down there for you guys. Hold on. Yeah, they've energy harvested us, and also this is to Tigo, yeah. I think that we have willfully gave our power away. We need to call back all our power to ourselves and realize that even in speech, a lot of the times we give our power away to the authorities. We give them too much respect. We give them too much power. yeah, by the way we speak about them, even that is us giving our power away. We give our powers away through religion. We don't think we're the divine one. We don't understand we are the Lords. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, right? And we're the Lords. We're the gods and goddesses. Yeah? So why would you say, okay, I'm only American, yeah, when the whole earth is yours? Why would you trade the whole earth just to tell you yourself you're a FBA? Why would you trade the whole earth just to tell yourself you're an African and you ain't got nothing to do with these FBAs? It's bullshit. Yeah, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We're indigenous to the entire planet. Why do you think they had to do all this? Yeah, to get rid of us and then go and make some fucking clones in a lab, yeah, to go and repopulate the shit. Why do you think you're still catching smoke now? Even now in 2026, have you heard about, is it Mississippi? One black guy ran into the police station and begged them. He says, yo, some racists are race choicing after me. He wanted them to give him a lift home. You know what they said to him? They said, nigga, this ain't an Uber. This is the police. Later, they found him running into some, I forgot what kind of hardware store it is, what they call them in America, which one it was, but it's kind of like what we have here as B&Q and shit. He ran into one of them places. On the cameras, they seen it. They seen him run into there, and he's not got no shirt on. Yeah, but he's run out of there and run into the woods, and all he's got is a stick to defend himself. They found the guy decapitated. This is recent, go and Google it. They found him decapitated with his private parts stuffed in his mouth. Yeah, and you know what this comes from? He went out hunting with his friends who happened to be all white. He's the only black guy in this group, and they're all white. And now they found this dude, yeah, buried with his things in his mouth, decapitated. Do you know what they said? They said, oh, animals did it. They're right, animals did it. Like New Breed is talking about it now on his page, if you guys follow New Breed. And New Breed was like, yeah, you're damn right animals did it, but human animals did it. He said, that sound like the Klan. But my whole thing is this. There was a black woman the other day who she went to do a sleepover with all her friends. All her friends are white people friends, right? And they battered her. I can't remember if she's unalived or not, yeah? But they battered this black girl while she slept. Woke her up and battered her. Yeah, y'all got to stop going with these all-white crowds. I'm not saying you can't have white friends, you know, but I'm saying you see what's going on. Yeah, they're not the same like you. You've seen what we've just spoken about Cabbage Patch and Incubator Baby. You need to be very careful when you're mixing with that type of being, because a lot of them are animals and they don't have the same type of morality you have, and they have a grudge against you because they know who you are, even if not consciously. Their DNA and subconscious, they know who you are. So you got to be very careful, especially the women. The brothers too, as you see, my man got found with his things in his mouth, right? But yo, you got to be very careful. Don't go with, oh, yo, all of us 8 white friends. Yo, do you want to come with us on this boating and going on up now? No thanks, you lot go. Yeah, have a great time. Yeah, I'll see you when you get back. Yeah, that's that. Yo, situational awareness right now is like fucking gold. Yeah, if you can't read a situation and you can't read into the dangers and stuff, yo, you might as well just jump off a roof or something now, because you ain't gonna last much longer when this shit hits the fan. Right? I just wanted to say that because I remember seeing that just before I started this live, like, yo, they found the guys with his thing stuffed in his mouth. Then I remembered the black woman from the other day. Do you remember? You understand? Even that, who said that? Missy. Why do we have rubber on our shoes? Because we are electric human beings. To stop you from grounding, to stop you from increasing your electrolytes, which will increase your vibration. So a lot of time I'll go to the park and just whack off my shoes and just walk about with no shoes, or sit down with no shoes with my soul on the Mother Earth, so she can increase your electrolytes, especially if you got the sun banging on your pineal gland at the same time as you're grounding yourself. Do that as often as possible. Hug trees. If people look at you, look back at them like, yeah, nigga, I'm hugging the fucking tree. What? That's what I do. You understand? I'm hungry, man. I didn't even eat. Now, what time is it? Yo, it's fucking lunchtime for me. Lunchtime at 5:30. Yo, Wagwan Worries and Company, you're good, yeah? My G. Yeah, them points on top of the buildings, Missy, they're called spires. It's part of the Antiquitech, yeah? Shout out to Christoph Solo, who says, hello, everyone. Guys, say hello to Christoph Solo, man. Yeah. Christoph Solo say, we all we got, and he ain't lying, right? So you need to, like, get familiar with each other and shit, man, because it's really like that. We're all we got. And how you know who your tribe is they're the people who will be into the stuff you're into. So everyone here is into the same type of shit. As to why I say, yo, link with each other, man. Don't be robotic. Don't go on like you can't, yo, hi, my name's this, and how, yo, how are you? And yo, fucking, yo. Yo, shout out to everyone, yeah, who made us past the 100k thing, because I ain't even been asking. Maybe I shouldn't just ask for shit. When I'm cooking, we usually get there anyway, but, you know. Jane89 is cracking up. I know I say some shit sometimes, yeah, like, but it's just to take the seriousness away from the message. Otherwise, I'm going to sound like some type of doom and gloom prophet. Like, oh, the world is going to end tomorrow. You have to make people laugh. You have to use humor to dampen the blow sometimes. You understand? Dr. York used to do it very much, so I picked it up from him. When I noticed, bastard, this theme's a bit dark, and I'll try and divert you guys with something that will make you laugh. Jackie Chan does it in his movies. He says he don't want you to remember the violence. That's why he used so much humor, to distract you from him kicking a man's head in. Do you understand? It's the same principle I'm using. Yeah, and there's a lot of Buddhist monks and philosophers who used humor just to divert people from the seriousness of the message. Otherwise, it's just going to be too disturbing for people. We just talked about cloned babies. Yeah, babies being grew like cabbages and shit, man. It's not just some easy thing to digest. It's fucking traumatic information. So sometimes, just to divert us away from the trauma of it, I'll crack jokes, I'll change my voice and shit to take your mind away from this darkness, you understand? Or shadow, I should say. Sorry to correct myself. Shout out to Madam Molly, Wagwan Molly. And Sihon. His missus is from Tartary. We'll call her a Tartfort. Who's this muppet? You getting blocked just for saying that. I don't think this is the page for you, pal. Yeah? Go elsewhere. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Dun, 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 dun. I have to do at least a couple people every time I go live. A couple people have to get blocked. So I actually look for them. So, yo, you think you snidey? Yeah, I'm blocking him. G-Man says, this is goddamn deeper than I was aware of. Shout out to Ghana, because you got the Black Star flag right there. Shout out to Natasha for flinging in them heart me's, that sword and shit, and that TZT thing. Is it glitching? Am I glitching now for you guys? I hope not. The response doesn't. Maybe you, who's this? Jane89. Where did you get your phone? You got one of them Temu phones? You got one of them phones off T. Oi, I hope you got a proper phone, you know. Because if you got one of them phones off Temu, yeah, that shit probably glitching, man. Because me with my fast cell phone, let me buy one of these fucking phones off Temu, yeah? What is it? S, whatever. I'm thinking it's a Samsung thing. When I got the thing, yeah, this, the thing don't even work properly, man. I just gave it away to one of my cousins. Yo. So I hope you not got one of them Temu phones. Boom goes a dynamite headshot. Just bust on your head. Yeah, shout out to my longtime friend Sihon, man. It's good to see you in here. Jane89, you attack the things them. Now the king's glitching. You see? I must have been glitching at some point. Am I still glitching now, guys? I can't be, because you guys are still here. And if you glitch too long, people just get off. Like, oh, this guy's glitching. And then you see the numbers just drop. But the numbers are kind of remain steady, so I can't be still glitching. Anyway, I'm gonna end the live, yeah? Because I think the attention span's gone now anyway. But I will be back. I can't tell you what time. Probably somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock. I should be back on, and I'll open my laptop and I'll read to you a few things from my book, Escape from the Chicken Farm, to show you about the calendars in Tartary and the history and all of that shit that goes behind what we've just explained, yeah? So yeah, there's 5 people that want me to invite them here, but I'll do that later, because if I do that now, I'm never gonna get away from this live, man. Yeah. So yeah, guys, join me back around somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. I'll be back on, and I'll be reading from my book, Escape from the Chicken Farm. We'll go a bit further into this Tartaria thing. Yeah. So yo, yeah, get something to eat, refresh yourself, hydrate yourself, bring a notepad and pen, and let's get back into this Tartaria thing around sunset, around 8, 9 o'clock English people time, right? Peace, Mafia for life.